This page is the cover of the magazine, prominently featuring the title SEGA Saturn Magazine in large yellow letters. An anime-style character with long reddish-brown hair and blue eyes dominates the right side. Major headlines announce exciting news, particularly regarding the upcoming Dreamcast console, including the reveal of its price and launch titles, as well as Namco and Taito joining the platform. The cover also highlights features on popular SEGA Saturn titles like Virtua Fighter 3TB and Psychic Force 2012. Other articles cover the game Friends, a Yu Suzuki interview continuing the discussion around Project Berkeley, which would later become Shenmue. A report from the Tokyo Game Show 98 Autumn, and looks at Dreamcast titles like Blue Stinger, Sonic Adventure, and Incoming. The bottom right lists guides and information on recent Saturn releases, including Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed, Martian Successor Nadesico, The Blank of 3 Years, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Noel, Lineage 3, and Virtua Call S. This page is an eye-catching advertisement for the highly anticipated fighting game, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, which was highlighted on the magazine's cover as a recent release. Dominated by a close-up of Spider-Man's iconic mask, the page features the game's bold logo, signaling the crossover action within. The text promotes the thrill of facing powerful opponents to grow stronger. It clearly states the title, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and announces the release date as October 22nd. As a major fighting title on the SEGA Saturn, it's listed as a fighting game, and highlights the essential requirement of the 4 MB expansion RAM cartridge for play, offering both a bundled version with the cartridge and a software-only option at different price points. Capcom is listed as the publisher, reinforcing their strong presence in the fighting game genre on the platform. The copyright notice confirms the inclusion of various Marvel characters like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Hulk, and others alongside Street Fighter characters, promising the exciting clash of universes that made this series a fan favorite. This page is a promotional image for Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, following up on the previous page's reveal. The dominant image is a striking illustration of Ryu from Street Fighter, looking intently upwards, mouth open, conveying intensity and readiness. Vertical text runs down the left side, translating to, "Let's go, new strong enemies are waiting," perfectly capturing the spirit of a crossover fighting game, where iconic characters face off against each other for the first time. At the bottom, small portraits showcase a selection of fighters from both sides of the roster. Cyclops, Hulk, and Captain America representing Marvel, alongside Chun-Li and Ryu from Street Fighter. This reinforces the exciting mix of characters featured in the game. The SEGA Saturn logo is visible at the top right, indicating the platform. This page serves as a dynamic visual advertisement, highlighting key characters and the core premise of facing powerful new opponents in this highly anticipated fighting title on the SEGA Saturn. This page is a promotional spread for the game's 7th cross on the Sega Dreamcast, showcasing the game's unique concept and visuals. The prominent text asks, "What are you? What are you trying to become?" This directly relates to the game's core mechanic, a biological evolution simulation RPG, where the player evolves their creature. The text further elaborates, stating that the game utilizes the latest neurotechnology, SOM, artificial life, and the image expression produced by Dreamcast, promising a survival of the world and evolution entrusted to the player. This highlights the game's focus on player-driven evolution and a dynamic world, powered by the new hardware. The central image is a large, fiery red celestial body, possibly the world where the game takes place, adding a dramatic backdrop. Below, several small screenshots provide glimpses into the gameplay. One shows 2 distinctive bird-like creatures, suggesting the diverse life forms. Another features a humanoid warrior with a sword, indicating combat elements. A third shows a creature in a watery environment, hinting at varied landscapes. Finally, a screenshot of a menu screen reveals a palette and body parts, head, arm, leg, with levels, likely illustrating the deep character customization and evolution system. The game title, 7th Cross, is displayed prominently in English and Japanese. Contact and website information for NEC Home Electronics are also included, along with a copyright notice from 1998. This page is a promotional spread for the Dreamcast title, Sengoku Turb, described as an advanced action role-playing adventure that introduces players to a world that is simultaneously cute, surreal, and mysterious. The game centers around Gino-chan, a lonely girl who wanders the universe and finds herself on the Lion Planet. Here, a peculiar conflict unfolds, the great 1,000,000 polygon war between cats and sheep. The text emphasizes the unique premise, simply stating, "This is good." The page features the game's title prominently in Japanese kanji, with hiragana pronunciation below. Above the title, the genre is clearly stated. The main visual is a large, expressive yellow character, seemingly a key figure or entity from the game's world, surrounded by abstract shapes. Below are 4 small screenshots showcasing the game's 3D polygonal graphics, depicting cute, low-polygon characters in action across varied environments, hinting at the gameplay visuals. The page also includes contact information for NEC Home Electronics and a website address for more information, along with copyright notices from 1998 and 1992. This page is the table of contents for the October 30th, 1998 issue of SEGA Saturn magazine. The headline feature is an extensive look at the Dreamcast's pivotal launch week, covering events from the SEGA New Challenge Conference 2 on October 6th through the Tokyo Game Show 98 Autumn, ending on October 11th. It details the rapid-fire revelations from this period, including Yu Suzuki breaking his silence to discuss Project Berkeley, the early title for what would become Shenmue. The coverage also touches upon the Dreamcast version of Virtualon, integration with the Neo Geo Pocket, and reports on the first impressions of users getting their hands on the console at TGS. Beyond the Dreamcast launch focus, the contents preview other exciting titles. GameArts is making a strong showing, with updates on the highly anticipated Grandia 2, reported to be 80% complete, and potentially another major title like How no Sangokushi. Fans of fighting games will be interested in the report on Virtua Fighter 3 TB, with the development staff discussing their goal of an arcade-perfect port. There are also previews of Psychic Force 2012, the wrestling title Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2, the sci-fi shooter Incoming, and the RPG Evolution, World of Sacred Device, showcasing the diverse early lineup for the Dreamcast. This issue captures the intense excitement surrounding the console's debut. This issue focuses on the Dreamcast launch, with coverage of Sonic Adventure, Blue Stinger, July, and Pen Pen Tricelon, plus Dreamcast Now updates and early development details. SEGA Saturn fans are treated to a special report on Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and complete guides for titles like Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed, and Shining Force 2i, Scenario 3. Previews of upcoming games like No L3 and Virtua Call S are included, along with a game index featuring Strikers 1945-2 and Malochi. A special feature explores Friends Shining of Youth, and the issue is rounded out with news, reader content, reviews, and insights from Sega's AM teams, balancing the new and established consoles. This page reports on the rapidly developing handheld gaming market, highlighting the upcoming release of Bandai's WonderSwan in March '99. The WonderSwan is described as a low-cost, lightweight, high-quality device targeting 15-19-year-olds, aiming to change the concept of portable gaming with its new features. It has attracted many software partners planning to release games across various genres. Also featured is the evolution of Nintendo's Game Boy into the Game Boy Color, set for release on October 21st. This version boasts a color LCD screen, revised dimensions, a lighter weight, and improved performance. A screenshot from Wario Land 2 is shown, demonstrating the new color visuals. Additionally, news of a link-up between the Neo Geo Pocket and the Dreamcast is announced, with the King of Fighters being the first compatible software, allowing characters developed on the handheld to appear as 3D characters on the console. For Sega Saturn fans, a reservation campaign for Neo Geo L3 is underway until October 31st. Pre-ordering the game includes a special bonus, and a PC CD-ROM with character information is also available as part of the promotion. The page also notes a nationwide Dreamcast reservation campaign starting October 20th. This page delves into various news and information, starting with a special release for the Sega Saturn Game Twin Operator. To celebrate its 3rd anniversary, a special pack containing the game, a video CD, and a photo CD is being released on October 15th. Originally priced at 18,000 yen, this pack offers a great value at just 11,000 yen. As a neat bonus, purchasing this special pack by December 31st enters you into a lottery to win exclusive telecards featuring characters from the beloved Yuchi's series. The page also covers other happenings, noting that Tokyo Joyopolis is starting a live broadcast show on Fuji TV from their studio, featuring reports from attractions. Additionally, there's news about an OVA adaptation of Leiji Matsumoto's Harlock Saga, based on Wagner's Der Ring des Nibelungen, with the first volume set for release in January '99. The latest 99 Asahi Kasei swimsuit campaign girl is introduced as 16-year-old Nana Kataura, and NTT Docomo is promoting a calendar featuring Ryoko Hirosu. Rounding out the page is a section on upcoming music releases set for October 21st, featuring new singles or albums from artists like Mr. Children, Poolbit Boys, Naoko Ijima, and Da Pump. This page presents the latest SEGA Saturn data station, highlighting the top software sales and upcoming release schedule. The introductory text notes that with the Dreamcast price announcement, people might be saving money, but encourages readers not to miss out on the week's top 2 titles, which are said to be excellent. The top 10 sales chart is led by Martian successor Nadesico, holding on to the top spot with strong weekly and cumulative sales, featuring a screenshot from the game. Shining Force 2 I Scenario 3 follows at number 2, also showing solid sales figures and a screenshot. Rounding out the top 3 is Densha de Go X, a new release this week, emphasizing its compatibility with the dedicated controller and noting its immediate high sales. The chart includes a mix of genres, from strategy RPGs and action games to simulators and dating sims, with titles like First Love Story, Slayers Royal 2, and The King of Fighters Best Collection also making the list. The lower section provides a SEGA Saturn release schedule, detailing upcoming games with their release dates, titles, prices, developers, genres, and compatibility information. This section lists many anticipated titles across various genres, from October through December and beyond, offering a look at the breadth of software hitting the console soon. This page presents the SEGA Saturn User Data Top 20, focusing on the most anticipated new software according to readers. This is a great look at what was generating buzz as the console was entering its final phase, noted here as its last spurt. Leading the pack at number 1 is Sakura Taisen Taikoku Kagekidan Graph, a spin-off from the incredibly popular strategy RPG series, currently showing % development progress. Following closely are titles like Virtua Cop Cs and the highly anticipated Fighter Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. This Capcom crossover is featured prominently, noted as being 100% complete in development and requiring the 4 MB RAM cartridge for its fast-paced tag team action. The page highlights that its preparation is perfect and hints at details on hidden characters and options being available in the magazine. Other games in the top rankings include Neon Genesis Evangelion and Sonic the Fighters, showing a diverse range of genres from visual novels to arcade ports. A screenshot of the visual novel No Chill 3 is also featured, sitting at number 13 and also listed as 100% complete, with commentary discussing system details. The lower section of the page contains tables detailing upcoming SEGA Saturn releases, listing titles, prices, developers, and genres, providing a glimpse into the software pipeline. Sidebars offer helpful explanations for genre abbreviations and hardware compatibility like the light gun, mouse, and RAM cartridges, essential for navigating the Saturn's extensive library. This page showcases the weekly SEGA Saturn Reader Race Ranking, where readers vote for their favorite games. As of October 16th, the ranking includes all 1085 games released for the console. This week features a major upset at the top. Taking the coveted first-place spot is Shining Force 2 I Scenario 3, the concluding chapter of the epic strategy RPG saga. Following close behind at number 2 is the visual novel Martian successor Nadesico, The Blank of 3 Years. This dramatic shift pushes the long-reigning champion, Sakura Wars 2, down to 3rd place. The article highlights this surprising turn of events as the magazine prepares for its final issue, emphasizing the excitement generated by the readers' votes in this ultimate ranking. This page features new game reviews and the ongoing reader popularity ranking. Leading the charge is Shining Force 2i Scenario 3, scoring an impressive 9.8571 average from readers and 8.0 from the magazine. This conclusion to the strategy RPG saga is lauded as a complete package, offering a stress-free system and deep story that draws players in. While some note the face graphics after class change aren't perfect, the overall presentation, including beautiful CG and battle scenes, is praised, with many readers already starting their second playthroughs despite the somewhat incomplete feeling ending. Following closely in second place is Martian successor Nadesico, The Blank of 3 Years, an adventure title with a reader average of 9.6668 and a magazine score of 7.66. Designed primarily for fans, its unique humanity matrix system adds depth to choices, and the amnesia plot makes it accessible to newcomers. The opening movie and theme song are highlights, and the game encourages multiple replays to uncover all content. While some minor issues like fast-forward speed are mentioned, it's considered a high-quality game that captures the hearts of fans. The rest of the page is dedicated to the extensive weekly SEGA Saturn Reader Race B ranking, showcasing hundreds of games based on reader votes. This list confirms the rise of Shining Force 2I Scenario 3 and Martian successor Nadesico to the top spots, marking a significant shift in the rankings that now include all 1085 release titles. This page continues the extensive weekly SEGA Saturn Reader Race ranking, picking up where the previous page left off and descending further down the list. Covering ranks from 399 to 765, this section provides a snapshot of how readers voted across a vast selection of the console's library. It highlights the sheer volume of SEGA Saturn titles released and gives insight into reader preferences across genres, from adventure games like Zorkin and Myst to action titles like Destruction Derby and Mega Man X3, strategy games such as SimCity 2000, and Racing with Wipeout. The list is a simple, detailed compilation of reader scores for hundreds of different games, showcasing the diverse tastes of the magazine's readership. This page features a deep dive into the SEGA Saturn title Bisho Ujo Hanahuda Nikki Michinoku Yukamuri Koi Monogatari. This romance-adventure game from FOG, released in December 1997, is set in the Tohoku region of Japan and blends traditional Hanafuda card game elements with photography and dating simulation. The game is centered around the protagonist, a camera enthusiast, who embarks on a journey interacting with various beautiful girls. The article highlights the game's compelling characters and story, particularly focusing on Shuko and Aya, and notes the importance of the Hanafuda matches and photography contests as core gameplay mechanics. The review mentions that the 18+ version includes bathing scenes, adding an adult edge to the romantic elements. Both readers and the magazine staff rated the game favorably, with the reader score being particularly high at over 9 out of 10. A reader comment praises the game for exceeding expectations beyond just a Hanafuda title, appreciating its romantic narrative and setting. The developers also share a message expressing pride in the game as their first work and their commitment to satisfying players. The right side of the page continues the weekly SEGA Saturn Reader Race rankings, listing more games and their reader scores further down the overall list. There's also a small teaser about a Project DC in development, hinting at future plans. This magazine page previews upcoming SEGA Saturn games. Train to Go! X, a conductor simulation, receives a 6.0 despite rough graphics. Hatsukoi Monogatari, a romance sim, scores a 5.0, with players liking the updated visuals and short play sessions. Eri Sushin Remaking Memories, an adventure game, is a disappointment at 4.33 due to poor graphics and a weak story. The Legend of Heroes 1 and 2, a classic RPG, garners a 6.33. The page also features reader interactions, including comments, and a ranking chart for Saturn peripherals like the Virtua Stick Pro. Readers can participate in prediction games, guessing rankings and scores for upcoming titles like Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter to win prizes. A reader race encourages game reviews and predictions with the opportunity to win Saturn peripherals and a software title. This page is the front cover of Dreamcast magazine, prominently announcing the official price of the Dreamcast console and confirming that 5 titles will be available at launch. The issue date is listed as 10/30, Volume 9 of 1998. A character from Virtua Fighter, likely Sarah Bryant, is featured on the right side, hinting at the inclusion of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, which is listed among the games covered. The page lists several games with corresponding page numbers. Among them are Virtua Fighter 3 TB P20, Psychic Force 2012 P35, Grandia 2 P44, Zhengwen Ji Sanguoji, Romance of the Three Kingdoms by Zheng Wen P48, Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 in Budokan P52, Akihabara Denno Gumipata Pies P54, Incoming, The Final Conflict P56, Sonic Adventure P124, Evolution, World of Sacred Device, P128, Blue Stinger, P136, July, P140, and Pen Pen Tricelon, P144. There are also sections titled Dreamcast Now, P148, and Naomi's Small Room, P150, which features Dead or Alive 2. This cover provides an exciting preview of the Dreamcast launch lineup and upcoming titles. This page counts down 42 days until the Dreamcast launch, confirming the console's official price of 29,800 yen. Following up on the announcements from May, this page details the final price, the 5 simultaneous launch software titles, and 8 types of peripherals also releasing on day 1. Highlighting the initial software lineup, we see Godzilla Generations, an action title letting you rampage through cities as various incarnations of the monster, offering a unique Generations roster and a monster battle mode. SEGA Rally 2, a highly anticipated home port, promises features beyond the arcade, including additional courses and machines, classic time attack, and network play support. Virtua Fighter 3 TB is presented as a perfect arcade translation, evolving the series into full 3D with balance tweaks and the signature 3-on-3 team battle mode, leveraging the Dreamcast's power for visuals and controls, potentially surpassing the arcade. Pen Tricelon offers a whimsical sports entertainment experience, with aquatic characters racing across land, water, and air, emphasizing strategic obstruction and supporting 4-player mayhem. Lastly, July is an adventure game featuring characters with unique abilities and a story driven by map selection. Alongside the console, 8 different peripherals are launching, finally revealed after much speculation. These include essentials like an arcade stick, perfect for fighting and shooting games, a keyboard, and exciting new items like the Puru Puru Pack, VMU Vibration Pack, and a microphone, ensuring the memory slot is ready for action. The Dreamcast's post-launch lineup promises a diverse selection of games before the end of 1998, including Blue Stinger, Geist Force, Seventh Cross, Evolution, Sonic Adventure, and Incoming. The article suggests a standard price of 5,800 yen for Dreamcast software, aligning with the Saturn's pricing. A comprehensive table outlines titles planned for 1999, showcasing various genres and peripherals. The article also previews the Neo Geo Pocket, Smunk's handheld, planned to link with the Dreamcast. Finally, the VMU is detailed, highlighting portable minigames like Muthra Dream Battle and Camera Dream Battle for future release. This page details the top 32 anticipated Dreamcast titles, ranked by user interest. Sonic Adventure remains at number 1, followed by Virtua Fighter 3 TB and SEGA Rally 2, all maintaining their previous rankings. Development progress is shown, with Sonic Adventure at 55%, Virtua Fighter 3 TB at 80%, and SEGA Rally 2 at 60%. The list features a mix of popular franchises and new titles. A Coming Soon section highlights Giant Graham 2000, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2, and Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram. The page also includes previews for upcoming games like Grandia 2 and a Romance of the Three Kingdoms title, indicating a promising launch and future library for the Dreamcast. This page continues the Dreamcast data station's look at the top 20 most desired ports, following directly from the previous list. User data shows strong demand for games like the Final Fantasy series, Sakura Wars, and Grandia. The accompanying text notes the impact of Namco's participation in the Dreamcast market and sees the successful port of Virtua Fighter 3 TB as proof of the console's capabilities, hinting that the wave of desired ports is far from over. Small updates also show progress on potential ports for Psychic Force 2012 and Get Base. Below this, the page shifts focus to arcade popularity, with the Video Game Shop Data Top 15, ranking the hottest titles in arcades based on shop data. Virtua Striker 2 Ver 98 takes the top spot here. We also get a look at some one-point check games, highlighting newer or notable titles from the scene. This includes Beat Mania Third Mix, a popular rhythm game with new features like a battle mode, and the Ocean Hunter, a rail shooter featuring a unique reaction system against giant sea creatures. The page also briefly previews Beastbusters, Second Nightmare, an on-rail shooter emphasizing chaotic action against monstrous foes, as shown in the dynamic screenshots. This page is a large feature dedicated to the upcoming Dreamcast port of Virtua Fighter 3 TB. It confirms the game is scheduled for release on November 27th, priced at 5,800 yen, and will launch alongside the Dreamcast console itself. The magazine presents screenshots taken from the Tokyo Game Show demo, noting the game is currently 80% complete. The accompanying text expresses excitement about the game's progress, highlighting its high level of completion, which is stated to be surprisingly comparable to the arcade version. The page displays prominent artwork of the main characters Sarah and Jackie Bryant, along with smaller character portraits showcasing many of the game's fighters. This feature reinforces the previous page's point about Virtua Fighter 3 TB being a significant title, demonstrating the Dreamcast's capabilities. This page provides an in-depth look at the upcoming Dreamcast port of Virtua Fighter 3 TB. The headline boldly asks if you can tell the difference, highlighting how complete the Dreamcast version is, stated to be 80% finished at the time of the game show demo. It expresses shock at the price, making this arcade experience available at home for just 5,800 yen. The article showcases side-by-side comparisons with the arcade version, Model 3, noting the stunning graphics that surprised everyone at the SEGA announcement event and Tokyo Game Show. Despite being 80% complete, the game is described as incredibly close to the arcade original in look and feel, with character movements and the sense of speed matching the expensive arcade hardware. The page confirms the inclusion of match intros, replays, slow replays, and multiple victory poses for each character, further closing the gap with the arcade experience. Stages are also nearing completion. A photo shows attendees at the Sega New Challenge Conference 2 event trying out the game using new VM-compatible joysticks, which were well received. The feature promises an even deeper dive into the Dreamcast version on the following page. This page continues the deep dive into the Dreamcast version of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, directly addressing the critical questions about whether it's truly a complete port. The analysis confirms that the accuracy of character motion is spot on, perfectly reproducing the techniques from the arcade version. Screenshots show the characters' movements in detail, suggesting the animation quality is very high and indistinguishable from the arcade. The article also investigates the reproduction of subtle details like recovery times, asking if they are replicated down to the frame. It suggests that even minute timings required for advanced play are being accurately implemented. A section specifically questions the accuracy of hit detection, and confirms that subtle evasions and techniques needed for high-level play seem to be present. The inclusion of bound combos is highlighted with a large banner, demonstrating the port's commitment to replicating the arcade experience fully. A Player's View by London Kobayashi praises the port, stating that seeing the Dreamcast version has made him reappreciate how good Virtua Fighter 3 TB is. He is highly impressed by the visual fidelity and the level of detail already achieved, calling it a complete port based on its current state. He feels there is nothing to complain about at this point in development. This article reviews the Dreamcast port of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, focusing on control, feel, and content in the 80% complete build. While input timing differs slightly from the arcade, improvements were made between earlier builds. The port is largely praised, with one player calling it nearly identical to the arcade experience, particularly appreciating the arcade stick feel and overall polish. 9 stages are complete, with Wolf, Jeffrey, Agoi, and Kagemaru's stages still unrevealed. Agoi is the only character not yet shown. The developers are striving for the visual accuracy of the arcade version. The article highlights specific stages like Akira's training hall, Sarah's subway, and Jackie's under construction building, as well as the high polygon count of Jeffrey's stage and the ongoing challenge of implementing effects like fog and mist. This page dives deeper into the Dreamcast version of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, focusing on the battle replay system and details of the gymnasium stage. It highlights the replay camera angles, noting they can be changed for different perspectives, much like the arcade version. The article gives specific attention to the gymnasium stage, described as a standard stage with a flat floor and walls. However, it points out a subtle detail, a slight slope near the edge of the ring that can affect movement and make ringouts easier, urging players to pay attention to this. It also mentions that, at this stage of development, character shadows are not yet displayed on this stage, which is noted as something to check as development progresses. Featured characters are Akira Yuki and Shun Dai, with screenshots illustrating their battle and specific moves. Akira's signature move, the Haogeki Unsu Satora Shao, is shown as a detailed series of screenshots, praised for its fast movement and arcade-quality animation. Shundi's move, Tentu Ritsu Saoshu Kyaku, which involves falling into a handstand and kicking, is also demonstrated with screenshots, highlighting the accurate reproduction of his posture before the move. The overall impression is that the character movements and specific techniques are being faithfully recreated for the Dreamcast port. This page continues the deep dive into the Dreamcast version of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, pitting Sarah Bryant against Jackie Bryant on the subway stage. It highlights the impressive accuracy of the port, starting with the stage itself, noting the detailed reproduction of the environment, including the trains running in the background, even if they aren't always visible during gameplay. The article emphasizes the faithful recreation of character movements and battle mechanics. It points out that the height of juggles from moves like Sarah's double rising knee and the recovery time after guarding Jackie's slant back knuckle feel just like the arcade. The detailed reproduction extends to character models, costumes, and even subtle physics like Sarah's accessories and body movements, which are noted as accurately ported. Specific character techniques are also showcased. Sarah's illusion jackknife kick combo is shown in detail, with the article asking if the subtle delay is replicated, implying it likely is. Jack Lee's sadistic hanging knee throw is demonstrated, praising the precise timing and execution of the move, including the speed of the knee and the recovery after the opponent is downed. Overall, the impression given is that this Dreamcast port is shaping up to be a complete and highly accurate representation of the arcade experience, even down to minute details. This page continues the in-depth look at the Dreamcast version of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, shifting the focus to the Jackie stage, which appears to be a building under construction. The stage features iron frames and areas with transparent glass, offering a unique environment for battles. The article highlights the faithfulness of the port, specifically encouraging players to check out Jack Parry's unique movements. Subtle details are noted, such as the stun duration after being punched and the timing of recovery after guarding, which are said to feel just like the arcade version. Even the float height from Sarah's knee attacks is mentioned as being accurately reproduced. Beyond basic movement, the page touches upon the potential inclusion of hidden elements, questioning when features like hidden commands or victory poses will be added to the port, suggesting these are currently unconfirmed but expected. Specific techniques are also showcased. Jack Kimmy's dash hammer kick is featured, described as having a sense of weight when used as a counter. Both Jackie's and Sarah's somersault kicks are shown, noting that while visually similar, Jackie's feels particularly sharp and quick in the Dreamcast version, clearly demonstrating the difference between the two characters' execution of the move. Overall, the port continues to impress with its attention to detail and accurate replication of the arcade experience. This page continues the in-depth look at Virtua Fighter 3 TB on Dreamcast, now focusing on Lion Raphael and Pai Chan and their battle on the library stage. The article highlights the excellent reproduction of the game's mechanics, noting that the sloped floor of the Lion stage significantly impacts gameplay, especially when moves like Lion's spinning kicks are used, potentially leaving him vulnerable. The faithful recreation extends to specific character movements and attacks. Details like motion blur on fast moves and residual images are beautifully rendered. Pack's movements when guarding have been corrected in this version, and the timing of recovering from hits feels just like the arcade. Lion's Senkyutai kick is shown, with commentary on how the hit detection changes based on position on the stage. Pai's unique techniques, such as her Tozan Fenshukyaku kick and her Tenshin Kantu throw, are also featured, with notes on how the stage's undulation can even slightly increase the damage of her throw when used downhill. Similarly, Lion's standard Senpu Saoshu throw is confirmed to be faithfully reproduced. The ability to replicate subtle offensive and defensive strategies using the evade button, including getting behind opponents, is emphasized as being true to the arcade experience. Overall, the port demonstrates a remarkable level of fidelity in capturing the nuances of both characters and their interaction with the unique environment. The next page continues the look at Virtua Fighter 3 TB on Dreamcast, shifting focus to Pai Chan versus Jackie Bryant on the roof stage. This particular stage is highlighted as having the steepest slope in the game, which presents unique challenges and opportunities. The article explains how the intense angle affects combat, impacting everything from attack effectiveness, like Pai's Ensho Hakyoku, to the potential for ringouts. Attacking from a lower position is noted as being advantageous. The dynamic nature of the stage demands quick adaptation and precise decision-making, especially when dealing with airborne opponents and combo execution. Depending on the angle, combos that typically connect may not, forcing players to adjust strategies on the fly. The importance of reading the opponent's state, such as their height when juggled, is emphasized as critical for choosing the correct follow-up technique. The page also showcases specific character moves, including Pai's Kokuen Hukyaku and Jackie's Northern Light Bomb throw, noting how throws like Jackie's are less susceptible to the stage's angle due to their short travel distance. Overall, the article underscores the faithful reproduction of the stage's impact on gameplay and the skill required to master combat on its challenging slope. This page continues the thorough analysis of Virtua Fighter 3 TB on Dreamcast, focusing on a battle replay between Lao Chan and Wolf Hawkfield on the Great Wall stage. The article highlights the game's impressive dynamic camera angles, noting how they change dramatically depending on the attack being performed, from quick jabs to powerful finishing moves. This feature is praised for being faithfully reproduced from the arcade version. The Great Wall stage itself is described as having a gentle slope and various ring-out areas, such as steps and low walls, which players must navigate carefully. The port's accuracy is further emphasized by noting the precise recreation of gameplay mechanics, like the guard stun experienced after blocking certain attacks. It specifically mentions how blocking Wolf's wake-up attacks results in the same frame data as the arcade, making slow reactions punishable by throws. Air combos are also confirmed to be perfectly implemented, with their success depending on the opponent's height and position. The page showcases specific moves for both characters, illustrating techniques like LeFou's shoulder neck throw and body blow, noting the latter's forward movement and stance change during execution. Overall, the analysis reinforces the high-fidelity and accurate gameplay reproduction of the Dreamcast version. This page continues the detailed analysis of Virtua Fighter 3 TB on Dreamcast, shifting focus to Kagemaru vs. Jeffrey McWild on the castle stage. While the stage's steps and railings might seem obvious, the article highlights the subtle undulations and lack of walls as crucial tactical elements. These elevation changes affect character positioning and attack hitboxes, making battles on uneven ground feel distinct. The 3D space is fully utilized, with character stances adjusting slightly based on the terrain. The Battle Replays section showcases how fighting on different elevations impacts gameplay. It notes that while standing mid or high attacks might seem similar, their effectiveness against lower stances, like Lion or AOA, can vary significantly depending on the subtle rises and dips in the stage. The faithful recreation of the arcade version's physics and movement, even across varied terrain, is emphasized. Specific character techniques are also featured. Kagemaru's unique moves are touched upon, and Jeffrey McWild's vertical upper is highlighted. Detailed screenshots illustrate how these moves interact with the stage's features, and how character models react realistically to hits and throws on the uneven ground. The fluidity of character movement across the stage is praised. This page continues the in-depth analysis of Virtua Fighter 3 TB on Dreamcast, this time focusing on the unique dynamics of the RAF stage during a battle replay between Wolf Hawkfield and Shun Dai. The RAF stage initially appears flat, but the analysis quickly points out its defining characteristic: constant movement due to wave action. The floating raft oscillates, and the connected boat section rocks even more significantly. This instability is crucial, as character positioning and attack effectiveness are constantly influenced by the changing elevation, similar to the effects noted on the castle stage previously, but with a different, more fluid kind of motion. The article highlights a battle replay between Wolf and Shun Dai, noting that Wolf's offense was particularly strong in the featured match. A key strategic point emphasized is the area where the raft meets the boat. Fighting in this spot leads to frequent exchanges influenced by the pronounced rocking motion. The reviewer notes that the stage's dynamic movement has been faithfully recreated from the arcade version, adding to the game's sense of realism and weight. Specific character techniques are also demonstrated, showcasing Wolf's signature moves. The road dropkick, a low attack targeting the opponent's legs, and the giant swing, a powerful throw, are featured with screenshots. The analysis praises the realistic motion and impact of these moves, further underlining the game's visual and physical fidelity. This page continues the deep dive into Virtua Fighter 3 TB on Dreamcast, shifting the focus to a battle replay between the heavyweights, Takarashi and Jeffrey McWild, on the iconic sumo ring stage. The analysis immediately highlights Takarashi's distinct characteristics as a sumo wrestler. In the arcade version, he was known for being difficult to knock down, with throws guaranteed after certain attacks. The Dreamcast version addresses this, noting a specific correction where he can now be knocked down by low attacks after being grounded, a detail confirmed during this battle replay. The sumo ring stage itself is discussed, appearing simple but incorporating subtle physical details like ground resistance, although it's less pronounced than other stages like Wolf's Desert or Jeffrey's Island. The reviewer acknowledges that players of the arcade version likely felt this resistance, and they are keen to see how faithfully these nuances are reproduced in the Dreamcast port. Several key moments and techniques are shown in screenshots. Takarashi's powerful throws are featured, including the Gasho Hazari, a throw using pressing hands, and the devastating Splash Mountain. The article praises the realistic animation and sense of weight, particularly noting how Takarashi's super heavyweight moves, like the Splash Mountain, realistically take time to lift the opponent, mirroring the arcade experience. The focus remains on the game's technical fidelity and character-specific strategies. This page continues the deep dive into Virtua Fighter 3 TB on Dreamcast, shifting focus to key development points and hardware. The article notes that while an 80% complete version was shown, generating excitement, there are still unknowns about the final 20% and certain gameplay mechanics. A major question raised is the perfect recreation of the complex aerial combos players discovered in the arcade version. Concerns are also highlighted about the consistency of input execution, particularly when conditions overlap, which is crucial for a precise fighter like Virtua Fighter. The status of unreleased characters like Adrai is also questioned, showing an earlier image of Adrai. Finally, the page excitedly reveals the dedicated Dreamcast arcade joystick, a significant peripheral for the port. It features a slot for the visual memory unit, a stick designed to mimic the arcade feel, a start button, and 6 face buttons, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, in an arcade layout. This stick is announced to be released alongside Virtua Fighter 3 TB, priced at 5,800 yen. This page promotes an upcoming book dedicated to the history of the Japanese game developer, Red Company. The striking visual features 2 prominent figures, likely key members of the company, set against a vibrant backdrop of Japanese festival decorations, masks, and symbols, including images from their various games. The main focus is the announcement of a comprehensive book detailing Red Company's history. The text highlights that the book will cover the studio's journey from its inception to the present day, diving into nostalgic items, discussing their latest projects, exploring the company's origins, introducing key members, and even including a Red Company encyclopedia. Fans can look forward to insights into popular series like Chomajin Ayuden Wataru, the beloved Far East of Eden series, and the highly successful Sakura Wars series, among other works. Scheduled for release in the autumn, this book is presented as the definitive collection for anyone interested in Red Company's extensive contributions to the gaming world. It's priced at 1,300 yen and will be a 112-page, full-color publication produced in conjunction with SoftBank. This promises to be a treasure trove of information for fans of these classic series and the studio behind them. This page announces the impending release of Psychic Force 2012 on the Dreamcast console, prominently featuring the game's colorful cast of characters. The main message is a perfect port of the arcade fighting game. The page describes the title as the second entry in the Psychic Force series, a unique fighting game that combines shooting and traditional combat within a 360-degree environment. Previously considered challenging, if not impossible, to bring to home consoles due to the advanced arcade hardware, the game is now confirmed to be arriving on Sega's new machine of the new era, the Dreamcast, in spring 1999. While the price is listed as undetermined, the announcement confirms it supports 2-player versus matches, a core element of fighting games. The artwork features several key characters like Burn Griffiths, Wendy Ryan, Keith Evans, and others, showcasing the game's distinct anime art style and diverse roster of superpowered combatants. This was exciting news for fans, looking forward to experiencing the fast-paced, aerial battles of Psychic Force 2012 at home. This page dives further into the world of Psychic Force 2012. Following up on the announcement from the previous page, it introduces the concept of Psychickers, individuals possessing special abilities who fight using psychic powers, spells, and advanced science in the year AD 2012. The backstory details a second psychic war stemming from human experiments and the rise of a resistance group called Noah. The page highlights several key characters who participate in this conflict. We see profiles for Patty, known as the Master of Tone, who fights with sound-based abilities. Genshin is presented as a magic user. Might is the Master of Lightning, utilizing electrical powers. Wendy is the Master of Wind. And Gates is introduced as a powerful cyborg. Each character profile includes a screenshot demonstrating one of their signature moves, such as Patty's Eternal Harp, Genshin's Congo Rin, Might's Lightning Sword, Wendy's Air Slasher, and Gates' all-range missile. The page also touches upon a mysterious third force that exists outside the main warring factions, adding depth to the game's narrative and character motivations. This provides a great overview of the diverse roster and powers players can expect, in this unique fighting game. Psychic Force 2012 plunges players into a psychic war in the year 2012. The military Psychic Force unit, led by UON, now employs artificial psychic workers and psychic hunters, escalating the conflict. This unit emerged from a counterforce against psychickers, evolving after Ugan's control over Noah. Opposing them is New Noah, founded by Carlo after the destruction of the original Noah headquarters. They seek the return of Keith and represent the hope for psychickers. The game features key characters like Setsuna, the artificial master of darkness, and Emilio, the master of light, who joined the military. Gates, the master of gravity, betrayed New Noah, while Regina, the master of fire, seeks vengeance, and Carlo leads New Noah. Dynamic screenshots showcase their powerful special moves, promising intense psychic battles. This page delves into the battle system of Psychic Force 2012, a fighting game that distinguishes itself by focusing on combat within a 360-degree 3D space, or barrier. The core gameplay revolves around movement and strategic use of the environment. The control scheme is streamlined, utilizing just 3 buttons: Guard, G, Weak Attack, and Strong Attack, each with multiple functions like guarding, throwing, basic attacks, and special shots. The user interface, as shown in the screenshots featuring characters like Setsuna, Carlo, Gates, and others, displays key information: attack power, life gauge, a timer, and crucially, the psycho gauge. This psycho gauge is essential for executing powerful special moves, and, if depleted, drains your life gauge instead. You can charge the psycho gauge using a psycho charge technique, G plus weak plus strong, though this leaves you vulnerable. Movement is vital in this game. Standard movement isn't enough. Mastering different dash techniques is key. The page details normal dash for quick evasion or positioning, quick dash for aggressively closing distance, though vulnerable to strong shots, and slide dash to arc around opponents or flank them. These maneuvers are demonstrated with screenshots showing various characters in action. The game also features a hypercharge, which allows you to rapidly build the psycho gauge, even exceeding 100%, by sacrificing your life gauge, granting increased attack power. The tactical depth comes from managing these resources and utilizing movement to gain an advantage in the arena. This page continues exploring the intricate battle system of Psychic Force 2012, emphasizing mastery of the 3D space. The attack section highlights a unique aspect. The basic attack button changes function based on distance, resulting in either a long-range shot or a close-range strike. Psychic moves are crucial and can even interact with the barrier walls and ceiling. Character choice is noted as important due to differing abilities. The combo system allows players to chain moves in close combat by executing specific sequences, though combo potential varies depending on the character's weight class. Light, medium, or heavy. Defense is presented as equally vital as offense. Beyond the standard normal guard, which consumes no psycho gauge but is vulnerable to psychic attacks, the game features several special defensive techniques. These include Barrier Break, a move to shatter an opponent's guard; Psychic Impulse, a chargeable attack with variable speed and range; Barrier Guard, a psycho gauge consuming full guard that repels attackers; and Evasion Barrier, a reactive barrier useful for preventing follow-up attacks after being knocked down. The page also touches on other systems, such as sudden death mode for tiebreaker rounds in versus matches, and a mode select screen offering both normal and beginner modes. Beginner mode provides helpful assists like auto guard and auto charge, making the game more accessible for newcomers. The complexity of managing space, offense, and defense through these varied mechanics is the core of the gameplay. This page presents a complete port declaration for Psychic Force 2012 on the Dreamcast, featuring a message from the Taito development staff. The article explains that the goal is a complete and fast port to the Dreamcast. The interview delves into the reasons for choosing Dreamcast, primarily its high specifications which allow for a faithful port using the arcade's powerful Wolf board engine. While porting is still in progress, the team is confident. A significant focus is on the graphics, utilizing the Dreamcast's capabilities for a visual renewal, increasing the resolution from the arcade's 384 by 240 to 640 by 480. They are also working on sound adjustments and character balance tweaks. An exciting possibility discussed is making hidden characters from the arcade version, such as Golden Wing Emilio and the final boss version of Emilio, playable in the Dreamcast release. The page includes images of characters from the game and introduces Hiroshi Aoki, the game's director, planner, and programmer, who is leading the porting effort. This page continues the discussion about Psychic Force 2012, featuring an interview with two developers who share insights into the game's unique appeal and the upcoming Dreamcast port. They emphasize that the real fun of Psychic Force 2012 isn't just about mastering complex combos or small techniques. Instead, it's about strategic battles focused on controlling space and movement, utilizing the character's psychic abilities to gain an advantage. They feel this distinct approach sets the game apart from standard fighting games. The article reinforces that the Dreamcast version aims for a complete and faithful port of the arcade game. Yuji Sakamoto, the character designer and supervisor, notes how the higher resolution on the Dreamcast makes the characters look even better. Kujiro Modegi, responsible for the DC version planning, confirms they are adding elements beyond a simple port, aiming for something more complete. Finally, there's a mention of a contest offering prizes to commemorate the game's announcement, encouraging fans to send messages. This page announces big news from GameArts. After a period of quiet development, the legendary developer is finally making its move on the Dreamcast, announcing two major new titles. First up is the highly anticipated successor to their signature RPG series, Grandia 2. This sequel is presented as a response to fan demand, signaling GameArts' commitment to their flagship franchise. The second title is Chen Wen's Romance of the Three Kingdoms. This game is highlighted for its unique visual style, utilizing hundreds of illustrations by the renowned manga artist Chen Wen, who is popular in both Taiwan and Japan. The article emphasizes the collaborative effort between GameArts and Mr. Chen Wen, who is a great admirer of the Three Kingdoms era, calling it a big project, and possibly unprecedented in its use of a famous artist's work on this scale. The page expresses excitement for both games, particularly looking forward to how GameArts, known for its technical innovation, will utilize the power of the Dreamcast for these new releases. The visuals show a dynamic screenshot from Grandia 2 and striking artwork featuring figures from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms story. This page continues the exciting announcement from GameArts, detailing their move to the Dreamcast platform with two major titles, Grandia 2 and Chen Wen's Romance of the Three Kingdoms. The feature includes an interview with GameArts president Yoichi Miyagi, who explains the decision to support the Dreamcast. He highlights the console's impressive performance as a key factor, enabling them to create truly excellent games. Grandia 2 is reported to be progressing well, building on the legacy of the first game, which was a massive success on the Saturn and PlayStation. For Chen Wen's Romance of the Three Kingdoms, President Miyagi discusses the unique collaboration with the artist Chen Wen, whose distinct style provides the game with its striking visuals, featuring hundreds of illustrations. He notes the potential of the Dreamcast for exploring new game mechanics, including network features, and believes the console's release will bring fresh energy to the market. GameArts is committed to delivering quality titles on the Dreamcast, and is even seeking new talent to join their team. Visually, the page showcases a dynamic screenshot from Grandia 2 depicting a chaotic battle scene, and artwork from Chen Wen's Romance of the Three Kingdoms, emphasizing the impressive character art, which is a major draw of this simulation game. The article reinforces the excitement for both projects and GameArts' ambition on the new hardware. This page focuses on the highly anticipated Grandia 2 for the Dreamcast. The biggest news here is that everything, characters, backgrounds, effects, and all, are rendered in full 3D polygons, a massive leap from the first game's 2D sprites against 3D backgrounds. GameArts is clearly pushing the hardware, and it shows in the dynamic battle screenshots and the detailed town environments. The article highlights that this new approach allows for a 360-degree camera in towns and dungeons, significantly increasing the sense of immersion. While it carries the spirit of the original Grandia, this sequel is a completely new story, set in a world not directly connected to the Saturn version. The protagonist is an older youth, suggesting a more mature and serious tone compared to the first game's brighter adventure feel. This looks like a true next-generation 3D RPG from GameArts, building on their legacy while embracing the Dreamcast's power. It's listed as a single-player RPG developed by GameArts, with the release date and price still undecided. Fans eagerly awaiting Grandia on Dreamcast finally have confirmation and a glimpse of what's to come. This article analyzes Grandia 2's graphical advancements on the Dreamcast. It focuses on three key areas: characters, environments, and townscapes. The game utilizes fully polygonal character models, a significant upgrade from the sprite-based characters of the first Grandia, allowing for fluid movement, and dynamic camera angles, especially in battles. Indoor environments benefit from detailed lighting and textures, showcasing the Dreamcast's ability to render realistic light sources and materials. Finally, the townscapes are enhanced with 3D polygons, adding depth, detail, and a strong sense of atmosphere, building upon the charm of the original game's towns. Overall, Grandia 2 pushes the boundaries of 3D RPG graphics on the Dreamcast, creating a visually impressive experience. This page continues the look at Grandia 2, focusing on the combat system, and featuring an interview with producer Takeshi Miyazato. Because the characters are now polygonal, the battle scenes have changed dramatically, as shown in the screenshots. The dynamic camera uses frequent zooms and perspective changes, combined with lighting effects and transparency, to create gorgeous magic effects. Despite the flashier visuals, battle time is said to be shorter than the first game, which is great news. The core battle system is based on the highly curated Ultimate Action Battle from the Saturn version, but it will be significantly upgraded for the Dreamcast. Just like the original, enemy encounters transition directly into battle on the exploration map. In the interview, producer Miyazato discusses the vision for Grandia 2. He clarifies that it's not a direct sequel to the first Grandia in terms of story or world, but rather builds upon the series' identity while targeting a slightly older audience, with protagonists around 18-20 years old. He notes that the story is shifting to a more serious tone compared to the adventure-focused original. Developing on the Dreamcast has expanded their expressive capabilities, particularly with polygon counts and effects like transparency. He highlights the power of real-time lighting calculations, which allows for dynamic effects like moving shadows when carrying a torch in a dungeon, creating a strong sense of immersion. He is focused on pushing the limits of real-time visual representation, and also mentions a strong emphasis on sound design. This page delves further into Grandia 2 on the Dreamcast, highlighting the evolution of its combat system. Even standard weapon attacks have been dramatically scaled up, featuring dynamic camera angles and visual effects that leverage the polygonal graphics for increased impact. The magic system also receives attention. Ice magic retains its signature animations but with doubled power and a shifted camera perspective for greater immersion, while fire magic is depicted as a visually stunning burst of power with impressive lighting effects. The interview with producer Takeshi Miyazato continues, where he expresses enthusiasm for the significantly improved sound performance on the Dreamcast. He notes that while development is ongoing, they are heavily focused on enhancing graphical quality, particularly refining lighting effects to maximize visual realism. He confirms the core battle system is a refined version of the well-received Ultimate Action Battle from the Saturn title. Miyazato also briefly touches upon potential uses for the Dreamcast's online capabilities, suggesting simple community features like accessing a game-specific bulletin board as a valuable idea, while emphasizing that networking isn't deemed essential for the primary single-player experience. The next page features a dramatic illustration of warriors, focusing on a new Three Kingdoms simulation game for the Dreamcast by GameArts. This title, announced alongside Grandia 2, is described as Chen Wenji Sanguoji, highlighting the involvement of the renowned Taiwanese cartoonist Chen Wen, whose bold and powerful artwork is brought to life on the console's display, showcasing the Dreamcast's graphical capabilities. It is presented as GameArts' original SLG take on the classic Three Kingdoms narrative. While the platform is confirmed as Dreamcast, and the developer is GameArts, the release date and price are noted as undecided. The page also includes a brief profile of Chen Wen, mentioning his background, his representative work Dongzhao Ying Xiongzhuan, and his international recognition, emphasizing that for this project he focused on capturing his unique vision without compromise. This page delves further into GameArts' venture onto the Dreamcast. With their unique take on the classic Three Kingdoms narrative, the main focus is the question, why Romance of the Three Kingdoms now? And GameArts' explanation. Dominating the page is a striking illustration of Liu Bei, with accompanying text highlighting his noble lineage and the famous Oath of Brotherhood with Guan Yu and Zhang Fei. The article emphasizes the game's distinct visual style, touting it as the ultimate 2D visuals possible on Dreamcast. In an era increasingly dominated by polygons, GameArts chose a hand-drawn 2D approach, leveraging Dreamcast's full-color, high-resolution 2D capabilities to bring the artwork of renowned Taiwanese cartoonist Chen Wen to life. The game features approximately 400 officers, with Chen Wen himself illustrating around half of them. The screenshots showcase this unique, detailed, and expressive art, which the text suggests holds up well to adult appreciation. Game Arts presents this title not just as a game, but as a statement and a demonstration of what the Dreamcast can achieve with 2D graphics. This page continues the look at Game Art's ambitious Three Kingdoms title for the Dreamcast. Focusing on the striking character illustrations by Master Zheng Wen, the headline proclaims his superb, passionate brushstrokes are key to bringing the game to life. Prominently featured are large, expressive portraits of three pivotal figures, Cao Cao, Zhuge Liang, and Sun Quan. The article highlights that the game adopts the strategic depth and worldview of the historical records of the Three Kingdoms, while retaining the charismatic and iconic character designs made popular by the romance of the Three Kingdoms novel. This approach allows for a more realistic simulation, avoiding the more magical elements of the romance, but ensures the heroes and villains players know and love are powerfully depicted. A screenshot shows the strategic map and the recruitment of the formidable Liu Bu, demonstrating that these famous officers retain their legendary status within the game's historical framework. The visuals, drawn over several years, are praised for their artistic merit and ability to appeal to a mature audience. This page continues showcasing Game Art's highly anticipated Three Kingdoms title for the Dreamcast. The bold headline, "Roaring into the Records," signals a powerful entry into the genre. The top banner confirms this is a Game Art's Dreamcast project focused on the Three Kingdoms. The article highlights the project's key strengths. On the left, it introduces Yukihiro Kuroda, known for designing numerous historical simulation games, emphasizing that he is crafting the game system. Small screenshots provide a glimpse of the strategic map and tactical menus, showing the depth of the simulation. The main section features comments from Takeshi Miyagi of Game Arts, discussing the decision to bring the game to the Dreamcast. He explains that the Dreamcast's improved performance, memory, and graphical capabilities finally allow them to faithfully recreate the stunning artwork of Master Zheng Wen digitally, which previous hardware couldn't achieve properly. He stresses that this era tests the artistry of creators, and that their focus is on realizing Zheng Wen's unique visual style and expressing it to its fullest potential. Large illustrations prominently feature two iconic figures, Guan Yu and Liu Bu, drawn in Zheng Wen's distinctive, powerful style. The accompanying text reflects on these characters, noting how figures like Liu Bu, often depicted as wild in the romance, are portrayed with depth by Zheng Wen. Guan Yu's illustration is also present, embodying loyalty and power. The page underscores the commitment to bringing Zheng Wen's artistic vision to life as a core part of the game's appeal. This page announces the return of the Dream Tag Team, SEGA and All Japan Pro Wrestling, showcasing the highly anticipated game giant Graham. All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 in Nippon Budokan, tentative, for the Dreamcast. Bathed in stage lights, the blue mat awaits the collision of powerful bodies and souls, marking the realization of a long-held dream for wrestling fans. The article highlights this title as the ultimate evolution of pro wrestling games, made possible by the Dreamcast's capabilities. A major feature is the support for up to 4 players in tag matches, a true spectacle. The game boasts detailed graphics and aims for realism, with real wrestlers appearing under their actual names. The venue is a faithful reproduction of the legendary Nippon Budokan, adding an exciting crossover element. Wolf and Jeffrey from Sega's Virtua Fighter series are confirmed to participate, generating significant buzz. Following up on the successful Saturn prequel known for its detailed motion capture and authentic presentation, this Dreamcast entry is poised to be a must-have title for pro wrestling enthusiasts. It is planned for a 1999 release on Dreamcast, with the price yet to be determined. Supporting 1 to 4 players, the magazine confidently declares that the future of pro wrestling games is on the Dreamcast. This article provides background on All Japan Pro Wrestling, AJPW, founded by Giant Baba, as context for the Giant Graham game. AJPW is known for its history, its bright, fun, violent wrestling style, and the prestigious Triple Crown heavyweight title. Key wrestlers like Mitsuharu Misawa and Kenta Kobashi are highlighted, alongside foreign talent. The Nippon Budokan, the holy ground for AJPW, is also mentioned. The article emphasizes the magazine's foresight in predicting the Giant Graham game, linking it to previous reporting on a SEGA and AJPW project. Samsung Yoshimatsu expresses hopes for a robust edit mode and the inclusion of legendary wrestlers like Bruiser Brody. Finally, a humorous cartoon illustrates must-have goods for playing the AJPW games, demonstrating the magazine's and its readers' enthusiasm for the collaboration. This page dives into the world of Cyber Team in Akihabara Patapis. Coming to the Dreamcast. Based on the popular anime, this title is described as a friendship training simulation, planned for release in April 1999 or later. The core gameplay involves raising your own Patapi, which are described as portable cyber pets that think and act independently. You'll interact with characters from the Denogumi crew, like Hibari, to advance the story while nurturing your Patapi. The game will feature over 50 different events. The Patapi's personality is said to develop based on playing with other Patapi, making each one unique. Both familiar characters and new Patapi variants from the original work will appear, promising a story distinct from the anime and manga. The page also showcases adorable merchandise, including plush toys and keychains of the popular Densuke Patapi. The article expresses excitement for the chance to meet the Akihabara crew and their Patapi on the Dreamcast. This page offers a deep dive into the Cyber Team in Akihabara anime series itself. It explains that the show aired this year, set in a futuristic Akihabara, where cyber pets called Patapi are widespread. The story centers around three young girls, Hibari, Suzume, and Tsubame, who acquire Patapi and unexpectedly gain the power to become Cyber Team in Akihabara, embarking on a quest to uncover the secrets behind their powers and a mysterious organization. The article highlights the unique twist that the main trio are actually massive giants in disguise. It touches on the emotional growth of characters like Hibari and the unfolding mysteries surrounding their past. The series is praised for its clever blend of serious storytelling and comedic elements, which captivated audiences. Popular supporting characters who join the team later, such as Kamome, the enigmatic beauty Suzume, and the beloved Patapi Densuke, are also mentioned. The page also lists the various forms of media available for fans, including music crids like the theme songs, original soundtracks, and vocal albums, as well as home video releases on VHS and Laserdisc for the TV series animation. This provides a great overview of the anime universe that the Dreamcast game discussed previously is based upon. This page features the Dreamcast game Incoming, originally released in 1998 by Rage Software. The striking title translates to, "At Times in the Year 2008. They are," followed by the game's title, Incoming, and the dramatic tagline, "Humanity's Final Battle," clearly setting the stage for a futuristic conflict, likely an alien invasion. The page displays key gameplay information, like the current score of 325,250 and being on phase 9 out of 10. Dominating the center is a dynamic shot of a futuristic combat vehicle on a rocky landscape, overlaid with a tactical radar display. Below this, 3 screenshots showcase the game's intense vehicular combat across diverse environments, including snowy mountains, open water, and fiery explosion scenes. It's a clear look at the fast-paced, arcade-style action and the variety of missions players can expect in this sci-fi shooter. This page dives deeper into the Dreamcast title, Incoming. The dramatic title translates to something like, "Suddenly, Flying to the Moon," setting the stage for the alien invasion theme. The large orange text boldly declares the arrival of an astounding 3D graphic shooting game that will make your eyes pop, emphasizing the game's visual fidelity. The text explains that the mysterious aliens began their invasion without warning, catching humanity off guard. But Earth's forces are fighting back, despite being outmatched. The game aims to recreate a realistic battlefield using polygons, delivering a dramatic battle akin to an SF movie. The story section elaborates on the plot, starting in the early 21st century with ignored UFO sightings, leading to an attack on a lunar base in 2008. It details the subsequent evacuation efforts and the desperate fight against the invaders. The page confirms the game is for the Dreamcast, developed by Imagineer, the Japanese publisher, and falls under the shooting genre. Screenshots showcase diverse gameplay scenarios, including ground vehicle combat against futuristic mechs, defending a rocket launch site, aerial dogfights, and possibly controlling defensive turrets. The visuals highlight the varied environments and vehicle types players will command. The footer adds a thematic touch, stating, "We can select a future," and "There is a future that humanity can choose," hinting at the high stakes of the conflict. This page provides a solid overview of Incoming's premise, genre, and visual presentation, promising an intense 3D shooting experience. The next page delves deeper into the gameplay of Incoming, focusing on the diverse range of military vehicles and weaponry players will utilize against the alien threat. The page breaks down the different combat roles and the types of machines available. It starts by discussing the use of powerful tanks for ground combat, emphasizing their maneuverability and destructive capabilities in the 21st century setting. The goal is to destroy enemy targets and control ground points. A large section highlights the sheer variety of weapons players will command throughout the missions. From fixed gun emplacements to mobile ground vehicles and aerial craft, the game boasts over 20 distinct types of weapons. This variety means players must constantly adapt and switch vehicles, depending on the tactical situation. The text emphasizes the satisfaction of freely controlling these powerful weapons, and witnessing their impact rendered with impressive 3D graphics. Finally, the page covers aerial combat, focusing on fighter jets. These aircraft are crucial for securing air superiority and providing support for ground forces. The Dreamcast's processing power is highlighted for delivering realistic and intense aerial dogfights and bombing runs. The text also mentions other aerial vehicles like attack helicopters and VTOL aircraft, used for various missions including retrieval operations. The overall impression is a game that offers a wide array of combat experiences across different vehicle types, promising varied and engaging gameplay. This page continues the exploration of Incoming's diverse combat scenarios and available hardware. It first details the role of fixed gun emplacements, or turrets, which are crucial for defending key positions against waves of alien invaders. While lacking mobility, these turrets pack a powerful punch, and mastering aiming is essential for survival, especially when enemies get close. The game offers players the freedom to change their viewpoint at will, providing various perspectives like the immersive cockpit view, a tactical external view, or a dynamic chase camera. This flexibility allows players to choose the view that best suits their combat style or the situation at hand, enhancing the feeling of being fully in command. Furthermore, the page reveals an exciting possibility. Players can potentially pilot captured enemy aircraft. These alien machines possess unknown potential, and utilizing their unique capabilities will be key to turning the tide. The game features a wide variety of enemy aircraft, from agile fighters to massive motherships, all rendered with impressive 3D graphics, making for intense and varied aerial engagements. The variety of vehicles, both human and alien, coupled with the adaptable viewpoints, promises a rich and engaging gameplay experience. This page delves deeper into the structure of Incoming's campaigns, explaining that each scenario is broken down into 10 distinct phases or missions. Completing all phases in a scenario is required to clear it. Players will experience diverse gameplay across these phases, shifting between piloting aircraft, manning ground turrets, and driving vehicles, all tied together by a dramatic storyline. The focus here is on Scenario 1, set in Africa. The mission takes place in Kenya, where players must defend a crucial reconnaissance facility under construction from alien attack. The operational details list the date as the 6th of June, 2009, with the operation starting at 9 p.m. local time. The page then outlines the initial phases of this African scenario. Phase 1 involves defending the base from incoming enemy UFOs using fixed gun emplacements. Subsequent phases detail objectives like defending fuel storage areas from attacks, recovering downed enemy aircraft, requesting and receiving supplies for retrieval operations, and finally, boarding the repaired alien craft to return to base in Phase 8. The screenshots effectively illustrate the varied combat scenarios, from aerial dogfights to ground vehicle defense, showcasing the different types of gameplay players will engage in. The situation is tense, with relentless alien attacks pushing the defense to its limit. Scenario 2 takes place in the Arctic Circle, following a successful mission in Africa. The objective is to destroy enemy bases, protected by a shield generator. The strategy involves a two-pronged attack. Ground forces will disable the shield, followed by airstrikes. Success depends on establishing and defending a secret airfield and transport routes. Key phases include disabling the shield generator, Phase 1, defending the airfield, Phase 4, protecting departing transport planes, Phase 5, and finally, defeating a giant enemy battlecruiser, Phase 10. The mission begins on the 8th of June, 2009, at 6 a.m. Screenshots depict intense aerial and ground combat in a snowy environment, highlighting the high stakes of the mission and the future of humanity. This page announces a special campaign celebrating over 2.5 million copies sold of SoftBank's Sega official series strategy guides. Running from September to November 1998, the campaign encourages readers to purchase eligible guides for a chance to win prizes. The headline shouts, "Thank you," and highlights the significant sales milestone. By buying a SoftBank Sega official strategy guide, you can enter to win one of 3 prizes: a Puyo Puyo and Madu Monogatari card collection box, 50 winners, featuring characters like Arle Naja and Satan, an Atsumete Godzilla virtual pet device, 100 winners, a unique collectible for fans of the kaiju, or a special commemorative telephone card, 1,000 winners, featuring various Sega game artwork. The campaign targets specific guides released during the period, including official guides and art books for popular titles like Cyber Troopers, Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, Sakura Wars 2, Virtua Striker 2, Ver 98, and Shining Force 2I Scenario 3, among others. Entering involves using an application ticket found in the books. It's a straightforward way for Sega fans to get great strategy guides and potentially snag some cool, exclusive merchandise from their favorite series. This page features a vibrant anime illustration of a young woman in a tennis outfit promoting the game Friends Shining Youth. This is a romance-adventure game from NEC Interchannel, scheduled for a winter release at 7,200 yen, and recommended for players aged 18 and older. The large text highlights the game's focus on revealing the wavering heart of a maiden without reservation. The page announces a special feature showcasing the latest event visuals and information for the game, promising a full volume of content for readers eager for its release. The anticipation for the game is described as reaching a breaking point among users. The illustration is credited to Toru Mizutani. This page continues the special feature on the romance-adventure game, Friends Shining Youth, offering a comprehensive check of the event scenes that occur over the game's core 6 nights and 7 days. The section breaks down the general flow of this period, illustrating key moments through screenshots for each day range, such as the initial gathering on days 12, tennis and riverside fun on day 3, free action on day 4 for approaching characters, a barbecue on day 5, and the concluding events on day 67. The article highlights that these events are critical for developing relationships with the target characters, with the outcome of these interactions being a major part of the game's experience. It mentions that the events are presented with full-spec motion, suggesting detailed animation for important scenes. The large illustrations on the page depict significant emotional moments, including a dramatic embrace and a scene of a character deep in thought, reflecting the game's focus on youthful relationships and the limited time during the 7-day reunion, where the 13 boys and girls consciously interact and express their feelings before the gathering concludes. This page continues the deep dive into the Sega Saturn romance-adventure game Friends Shining Youth. The feature now focuses on the game's setting, Hoshifuri Plateau, highlighting it as the reunion location. The large illustration vividly captures a moment from the tennis event, a key scene where relationships can develop. The article explains how players navigate the plateau using a map, with character markers indicating where friends can be found. This system allows players to strategically decide where to go and who to spend time with, reflecting the time-sensitive nature of the game's 7-day period. Screenshots show the interior of the Pension Blue Forest where the characters stay, as well as key female characters with dialogue bubbles, providing a glimpse into the interactions players will have. The emphasis is on exploring the various locations within the plateau to trigger events and strengthen bonds, building on the event structure detailed on the previous page. This page continues our look at the Sega Saturn romance-adventure game, Friends Shining Youth. Having explored the setting and event structure, this feature dives deep into the game's core, the intricate relationships between the characters. A prominent diagram visually maps out the connections among the 11 men and women gathering at the reunion. Lines connect character portraits, annotated with labels indicating feelings like dislike, close friend, admiration, and even former lovers, or those holding grudges from the past. The page also includes individual character profiles, providing insight into their personalities and histories, which are crucial for understanding the complex web of relationships players must navigate. This focus on the tangled human connections is highlighted as a major selling point of the game, promising a dramatic narrative shaped by the player's interactions and choices within this diverse group. This page continues our coverage of the Sega Saturn romance-adventure game, Friends Shining Youth, focusing on the character Mizuho Kobayakawa. The prominent title across the page reads, "I'm frail but I'm cheerful," a phrase that encapsulates a key aspect of Mizuho's personality or story arc within the game. The page is filled with various artworks and screenshots showcasing Mizuho in different scenarios, including a striking image of her in a white swimsuit, another in a wide-brimmed hat, and scenes depicting her running, collapsing on a tennis court, being cared for in bed, and contemplating by a lake with another character. A section titled, Mizuho Collapses, details an event likely shown in one of the screenshots, describing how she collapses while playing tennis, prompting others to rush to her aid. Despite her frailty, she insists she is fine. This page serves as part 1 of a visual reveal of event scenes from the game, specifically highlighting moments that occur on Day 3 of the story. These visuals provide a glimpse into the dramatic events and character interactions players will experience, building on the complex relationship dynamics discussed on the previous page. This text focuses on Tsubasa Wakabayashi, a character in the Sega Saturn game, Friends, Shining Youth. The story hints at Tsubasa's unrequited love for Tatsuya, his childhood friend, complicated by Tatsuya's potential interest in another character, Mizuho. Tsubasa, described as boyish and clumsy in love, struggles with confessing his feelings. The game offers numerous two-shots with Tatsuya, suggesting opportunities for their relationship to evolve during a 6-night, 7-day gathering. Specific in-game events, such as a walk on Day 2 and a fishing trip on Day 5, provide glimpses into Tsubasa's arc. These events highlight the dynamics between Tsubasa and Tatsuya, promising a narrative centered on Tsubasa's quest for clarity in their relationship. The Sega Saturn visual novel Friends, Shining Youth features complex character arcs. Akimiya Midori, known for her yellow bikini and glasses, experiences unrequited love. Her storyline shows her grappling with feelings for Yosuke, leading to an evolving relationship with Tatsuya, marked by moments of vulnerability and contemplation. Shono Shizuka, in a purple bikini, confronts her past. Her story reveals her apologizing to former acquaintances and showing a softer side, especially when interacting with Tatsuya, revealing a shy vulnerability beneath her confident exterior. Both characters' narratives unfold within a 7-day time frame, hinting at intricate emotional journeys and romantic entanglements. This page focuses on 2 more characters from the Sega Saturn visual novel Friends, Shining Youth, showcasing key moments from their individual storylines within the game's 7-day period. First, we have Kano Makoto, depicted in various scenes. Her profile highlights a walk on Day 2, noting her shyness and model-esque figure. On Day 5, she's shown enjoying a barbecue, preparing with the protagonist Fujio, who seems particularly happy. Day 3 involves playing tennis and a trip to the river, suggested by Fujio. The illustrations depict her in an orange top and swimsuit, reflecting a summer setting. Below, the page introduces Saeki Kanako. Her story beats include appreciating the starry sky on Day 2, where her innocent and cute face is noted. Another significant moment is her diligently making cookies for Ryunosuke, the senior she admires, showing her dedication, even if the results aren't perfect. She is also involved in organizing a test of courage, where the lottery for pairing up characters creates some anxiety. Kanako is shown in a pink dress and also participating in night events. The page gives players a glimpse into the romantic and daily life scenarios they can experience with Makoto and Kanako, emphasizing different events and emotional interactions possible during the game's week-long narrative. This page continues the character introductions for the visual novel Friends, Shining Youth, focusing on 2 more girls and significant moments from their stories within the game's 7 days. First up is Aoki Momoko. On Day 4, we see her looking sadly from an observation deck, with the text pondering if her melancholy is tied to a past romance. Day 2 features an encounter while she's shopping. Despite appearing like a young madam, she is noted to be young and unmarried. A dramatic scene is also depicted where she expresses her hesitation to fall in love again to the protagonist, Tatsuya, before running off, seemingly shaken by her own words. Below, we meet Murata Miyuki. Day 4 finds her at her part-time job at Kazaguruma, clenching her fist and muttering, leaving the player wondering if she's angry or plotting something. Then, on Day 3, the scene shifts to a cafe date, capturing a moment where she's about to eagerly enjoy a dessert, perfectly illustrating her energetic personality. Another image shows her happily holding a stuffed animal at the game center, showcasing her lively nature when interacting with Tatsuya. This page features a stunning pin-up illustration for the visual novel Friends, Shining Youth, the same game we were delving into on the previous page with character introductions. This beautiful artwork, credited to Tohru Mizutani, brings the game's main trio to life. We see the protagonist, Tatsuya, positioned centrally, flanked by two key female characters, likely Aoki Momoko and Murata Miyuki, given the context of the previous page. The illustration captures the essence of the game's title, Shining Youth, depicting the characters in a vibrant and dynamic pose, hinting at the relationships and story arcs explored within the game. It serves as a visual highlight, showcasing the character designs and artistic style that players can expect to see throughout their journey through the game's narrative. This page contains a captivating narrative excerpt from the visual novel, Friends, Shining Youth. The text immerses us in a scene at a summer pension, where the protagonist is reunited with friends after 3 years, possibly involving tennis activities. The tranquility is shattered by the dramatic entrance of Shizuka, arriving noisily on a large motorcycle. The dialogue reveals the character's surprise and concern over Shizuka's appearance and apparent lifestyle changes, hinting at her potentially having become a Yankee after quitting school. This tense reunion scene highlights the character dynamics and conflicts explored in the game. Below the narrative, information confirms this is part of the game's story, encouraging players to enjoy the events from the second day onwards, and lists the title, author, illustrator, scheduled December 17th release date, 740 yen price, and publisher Kadokawa Shoten. This page features a scene from the visual novel Friends, Shining Youth, illustrated with a vibrant image showing the main characters gathered in a cozy room within the pension. The narrative continues after the group's arrival, describing their first impressions of the pension Blue Forest. Momoko, possibly the owner or manager, shows them around the charming interior, which is decorated with white walls and wooden furniture. Ryosuke is particularly impressed, noting how lovely it is. The story then shifts focus to Midori, whom Yusuke recognizes. There's a moment of quiet observation as the characters reunite after 3 years, highlighting Midori's gentle demeanor and Yusuke's reaction to seeing her again. The text confirms this is part of the game's story, continuing the unfolding events at the summer retreat. The next page continues the narrative of the visual novel Friends, Shining Youth, picking up right after the group's arrival at Pension Blue Forest. The text focuses on the interactions between the characters, particularly Yusuke and Midori, following their unexpected reunion. Yusuke is described as slightly taken aback by Midori's quiet nature. Momoko, the host, warmly welcomes them and confirms they are guests. As the conversation progresses, a new character, a high school girl with a ponytail, appears, seemingly running towards them. She is introduced as Murata Miyuki and appears to be working at the pension, or connected to Momoko. The dialogue highlights the initial introductions and sets the stage for further events at the summer retreat, hinting at the purpose of their gathering being related to a tennis club reunion. The next page continues the narrative from the visual novel, Friends, Shining Youth, set at Pension Blue Forest. The story quickly escalates after the initial reunion. Midori appears increasingly agitated, behaving oddly, which prompts Yusuke to recall something from their high school days, seemingly related to her. This triggers a strong, negative reaction from Midori. The situation becomes tense when Ruka intervenes, confronting Yusuke and Tatsuo and expressing her displeasure with them. A small incident with powder sugar from a cake adds to the chaos. Midori, visibly upset, eventually declares she feels ill and wants to leave. The disagreement intensifies into a full-blown argument, with Ruka aggressively defending Midori and lashing out at Yusuke and Tatsuo, calling them pests and criticizing their bad atmosphere. Yusuke expresses confusion over the sudden conflict. Ruka pulls Midori away, and they exit the scene together, leaving the others stunned by the unexpected outburst. The page captures a sudden shift from a pleasant reunion to a dramatic confrontation rooted in past issues. The next page continues the story from Friends, Shining Youth, following the departure of Midori and Ruika. The remaining characters are left baffled and confused by Midori's sudden outburst and strange behavior. They try to piece together what could have caused such a dramatic reaction, reflecting on their shared past, specifically their time in the middle school tennis club. They try to remember specific members from those days, recalling Kono Mayumi, who was quiet back then but is now a model. They also struggle to pinpoint the identity of another male member from the club, sensing he might be key to understanding Midori's distress. The conversation focuses on trying to find a link between something that happened years ago in the tennis club and the present confrontation, setting up a central mystery surrounding their past. This page delves into the characters' confusion and their attempt to unravel the history behind the sudden tension. The next page continues the story, Friends, Shining Youth. The characters are now gathered and enjoying cake. A cake called the White Star Cake is served, described as simple but delicious, with an orange flavor. One character, Midori, seems somewhat hesitant or out of sorts, despite the pleasant setting. The conversation touches upon the cake's taste and Midori's reaction. They also joke about Midori's bag being full of snacks, suggesting she's well prepared. As they eat, the atmosphere shifts slightly, perhaps due to the earlier tension or Midori's mood. The conversation then turns to another person, with someone asking about who is expected to arrive. The next page of the story, Friends, Shining Youth, finds the narrator reflecting on the journey to the destination. Unexpected changes in travel plans led the narrator to take the train alone with heavy luggage, feeling somewhat out of sorts. Upon arriving at the Highland station, the atmosphere feels instantly vibrant and summery, a stark contrast to the earlier mood. The station area is described with souvenir shops and a sign that resembles a theme park entrance. The narrative notes that another character, Tachibana, who was initially set on driving, also ended up taking the train and seemed displeased. Just as the narrator is taking in the surroundings, familiar voices are heard. Two figures, Akiyama Midori and Koyamadani Tachibana, appear. The narrator instantly recognizes them, noting it has been 3 years since they last met. The two newcomers are described, one in a white hat and sandals, the other in a pink dress. Both groups call out to each other in surprise and excitement, confirming the reunion at the station. Midori and Tachibana are mentioned as having been part of the tennis club, adding context to their connection. This page effectively sets the scene for the long-awaited meeting. This page continues the story, Friends, Shining Youth. The reunion at the station progresses as the narrator, Midori, and Tachibana catch up after 3 years. They reminisce about their middle school days and the tennis club. Details about the upcoming reunion are provided, including the dates, location at a pension in Hoshikawa Kojin, and items to bring, like tennis equipment and swimsuits. The conversation reveals how the characters have changed, with a humorous note about Tachibana's focus shifting from tennis to music and bands. The page captures the feeling of revisiting old friendships and anticipating the shared experience of the reunion. This page continues the serialized story, Friends, Shining Youth. The manga panels show the characters Hotaru and Koyori talking, expressing surprise and confusion about the upcoming trip details, referencing Tatsuya and Yosuke. It seems they are clarifying arrangements or dealing with a misunderstanding. The bottom of the page introduces the main characters involved in the story, providing brief profiles for each. These include Hotaru, described as a childhood friend with unspoken feelings; Tatsuya, a cheerful normal guy; Mizuho, a former school Madonna; Midori, Mizuho's talkative best friend; Makoto, a former library regular now a model; and Shizuka, who likes bikes and is the only working adult in the group. These profiles establish the cast and hint at the relationships and personalities central to the narrative. This page continues the serialized novel Friends, Shining Youth, a story related to the Sega Saturn title, Friends. The illustration features 2 characters from the story, likely from the main cast introduced previously. The text section, presented as part 3 of a feature titled Lots of Friends, delves into the narrative, reflecting on the passage of 3 years since playing tennis together in middle school. The narrator notes how characters like Mizuho and Midori, along with everyone else, have changed significantly since that time. There's a poignant realization that things can't stay the same forever, hinting at evolving relationships, particularly between the narrator and Tatsuya, suggesting their current dynamic is unsustainable. Authored by Adua Yuya, with illustrations by Toru Mizutani, this page continues to build the emotional core of the story, setting the stage for further developments in the characters' lives. The next page features a column by the musician Koji Hayama, known for his work in the game music industry, including the soundtrack for the Chowaniki series. Titled, Koji Hayama's Men's Empire Car Shop Chronicles, the article delves into his personal experiences and reflections, largely centered around cars and the lessons learned from dealing with car shops and the people within them. Hayama reflects on his own work ethic and efficiency compared to others, linking it to his early experiences with part-time jobs, including one at a car shop. He shares anecdotes about meeting interesting characters in the automotive world, including a shop owner and mechanics, some of whom taught him valuable life lessons despite their unconventional methods. He recounts various car-related adventures, from modifying vehicles to the emotional connection he has with cars as vessels for dreams and memories. The column is a mix of personal history, philosophical musings on life and work, and a deep appreciation for cars and the unique culture surrounding them. There are also brief sections providing an address for submissions and listing some of Koji Hayama's past albums that were re-released, including titles related to Choaniki. This page is an advertisement and mail-order guide for Santa, a specialty Sega store that sells new products. It provides their contact details including phone 0332589051 and fax 0332528456, numbers, their address in Tokyo, and their website. The store operates from 10 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., but is closed on Saturdays. Standard shipping is 400 yen, with increased costs for certain regions like Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Okinawa. An additional fee applies for cash-on-delivery orders. The bulk of the page consists of price lists for Sega Saturn, Mega Drive, Game Gear, and Mega CD software and peripherals, noting that listed prices do not include consumption tax. Detailed instructions are included on how to place orders via phone or fax, and available payment methods, which are cash-on-delivery, bank transfer, registered mail, and postal money order. Information on required details for ordering and estimated delivery times based on the payment method is also provided. This page is a huge feature detailing the exciting and fast-paced developments surrounding the Dreamcast over a single week, culminating in the Tokyo Game Show. It's titled, Dreamcast's Hot Announcements Daily, Tokyo Game Show Super Express, a week Dreamcast all-out fastest special feature. The page highlights major news that shook the industry, such as the announcement of Capcom's Resident Evil, and the crucial participation of Namco on the Dreamcast platform. A photo shows Sega executive Hidekazu Yukawa, famous for appearing in Dreamcast commercials, emphasizing the importance of this news. It provides a timeline of key events from October 6th to 11th. This includes reports from the Sega New Challenge Conference 2, details on Sega's new title Shenmue, discussions about the Dreamcast version of Oratan, and news about the Neo Geo Pocket connecting with Dreamcast. The coverage extensively features the Tokyo Game Show, reporting on new game experiences from various companies, and the announcement of Taito's Psychic Force 2012. Other events include business meetings, Dreamcast events, and talk sessions featuring industry figures. Boxes highlight that the Sega announcement event had 2,500 attendees, and emphasize the emergency news of Namco's participation. The page declares this week greatly shook the game industry, suggesting a major shift has occurred. The mountain has finally moved. This page continues the coverage of the pivotal week for Dreamcast, focusing on the Sega New Challenge Conference 2, where the console's price and vision were officially unveiled. Sega president Isao Okawa expressed great confidence in the Dreamcast, stating that something unexpectedly good was made. The price was revealed to be 29,800 yen, a point Okawa discussed in detail, highlighting the value proposition, especially concerning its built-in communication capabilities. He emphasized that this feature, which allows for internet connectivity and positions the Dreamcast as an information terminal, was a major difference from previous game machines and was something the industry and public were seeking. He envisioned the console enabling not just games, but also access to daily life information and online shopping, making the idea of an advanced information society a reality. The conference itself was a major success, drawing over 2,500 attendees, including a significant number of game creators. This large turnout, featuring many powerful new developers alongside established figures like Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto, signaled strong industry support and excitement, exceeding the level seen during the Saturn era. An interesting detail highlighted is that the iconic Dreamcast startup sound logo, which Okawa positioned as the beginning of a dream, was composed by the internationally acclaimed artist Ryuichi Sakamoto. The page encourages readers to pay close attention to this brief but significant audio cue. This page continues the coverage of the Sega New Challenge Conference 2, focusing on the official price announcement and the distribution strategy for the Dreamcast. Chairman Okawa and President Okawa shared their vision on stage, confirming the console's price at 29,800 yen. The package includes the console, a controller, cables, and network software, highlighting the built-in online capabilities that Sega sees as key to the Dreamcast's appeal as an information terminal. They spoke of overcoming technical challenges and the strong support from partners like Hitachi, NEC, Sony, Yamaha, and Microsoft, which was essential for bringing this vision to reality. The goal is widespread adoption, reaching all households. SEGA also detailed their distribution plan, establishing 5,000 Dreamcast partner shops across Japan. The console and select software will also be available at convenience stores like Family Mart and Lawson. To drive sales, 3 campaigns are planned: a reservation campaign offering a bonus item, a campaign for early purchasers, and the introduction of a point system where users earn points for buying software, which can be exchanged for goods. This comprehensive strategy aims to deliver the Dreamcast experience directly to users nationwide. The SEGA New Challenge Conference 2 featured significant Dreamcast announcements, notably Capcom's reveal of a new Resident Evil title. Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto praised the console's potential, inspiring creators. The presentation included Power Stone, demonstrating Capcom's capabilities. Shinji Mikami confirmed the new Resident Evil would be a distinct, movie-quality entry following Resident Evil 2. Real-time gameplay was a key development factor. Developers expressed strong support, highlighting the Dreamcast's tangible capabilities. Miyazaki, Bits Laboratory, Uba, Sega Enterprises, and Akikura, 45, emphasized the importance of a robust software lineup, especially mentioning the upcoming game, July. The conference fostered high anticipation and a strong commitment from the development community for the Dreamcast. This page continues the SEGA New Challenge Conference 2 coverage, highlighting the surprising participation of Namco, who had previously been distant from SEGA platforms. Namco's Asada took the stage to announce their official entry into Dreamcast development, expressing strong confidence in the hardware, particularly its online and 3D capabilities. He stated Namco aims to develop both standard game types and entirely new experiences for the console. Other developers shared their thoughts on the Dreamcast and the conference. And Presto's Terada expressed surprise at Namco's announcement and mentioned working on various titles including Superhero Operations. Game Studios Endo commented on playing Virtua Fighter 3 TB and finding it comparable to the arcade, stating a desire to create 3D dungeon RPGs for the system. NEC Home Electronics Fukugawa praised Sega's efforts and expressed excitement for Project Berkeley, known internationally as Shenmue. Params Ida described the Dreamcast as hardware that inspires creation, noting his interest in Sonic Adventure and mentioning his past work on games like the PS version of Tale of the Sun. The page includes photos of these developers and the moment Namco's participation was announced. This page details the standard equipment for the Dreamcast console, highlighting its built-in modem and the bundled Dream Passport software. This software allows users to immediately access the internet upon connecting the console to a phone line, offering features like browsing the web for the latest information, exchanging emails, and potentially downloading mini-games like those for the visual memory unit. It notes that access will be free within the year, excluding telephone charges. The page also announces the launch of the official Drika's homepage, providing information and services such as checking the status of a character called Puchi Shogun and engaging with virtual mail friends. Continuing the coverage from the SEGA New Challenge Conference 2, the page showcases the wide array of peripherals planned for simultaneous release or soon after the Dreamcast launch. These include the standard controller, the indispensable visual memory unit (VMU), which is bundled with the console, an arcade stick, a Dreamcast keyboard, a racing controller, a fishing controller, a VGA box for display output, a microphone device, and the Puru Puru Pack, Rumble Pack. Photos show several of these peripherals, including the bundled VMU, the keyboard, set for a November 27th release at 4,500 yen, the arcade stick, also November 27th at 5,800 yen, and the racing controller, which appears to be a high-quality, attention-grabbing accessory designed for realistic driving simulation. The display of these peripherals indicates Sega's commitment to offering a versatile gaming experience from day one. This page delves further into the Dreamcast's network capabilities, stressing how the ease of use provided by the Passport software will quickly spread internet access into homes, unlike traditional SIPEX. It introduces upcoming network content, including online multiplayer for Sega Rally 2 using the Dwango service, emphasizing that this is easy to set up and only incurs nationwide phone charges. There's also news of a collaboration with Web TV networks, bringing internet browsing to home TVs via a dedicated Dreamcast browser. The page presents Dreamflyer, a software for sending visually rich email messages with designs, stamps, and customized envelopes. It even hints at the potential appearance of a browser similar to Internet Explorer 4.0. Finally, A Q&A session reveals insights from the conference, covering production targets, aiming for 1 million units by year-end, international release plans, Asia concurrent with Japan, US, and Europe in September 1999, distribution methods including special retailers and convenience stores, and the billing system which will offer initial free access and various payment options. This page continues the coverage of the SEGA New Challenge Conference 2, focusing on a dramatic announcement. The main headline, Breaking the Silence, sets the stage for a significant reveal. The central image teases a mysterious new project with the text, 3 years since VF3 and RPG, hinting at a major shift for Yu Suzuki and AM2, known primarily for fighting games and arcade hits like Virtua Fighter. A special report was delivered, and the text confirms this mysterious title is Project Berkeley. While details were scarce at the time, the presentation strongly suggested it would be an RPG, a departure from Yu Suzuki's previous work, building anticipation after the acclaimed Virtua Fighter 3. The page highlights Yu Suzuki himself presenting, emphasizing the importance of this new direction. Alongside this mysterious project, the page confirms a Dreamcast port of Virtua Fighter 3 TB. The final words, the answer is Dory, hint at the resolution of the Project Berkeley mystery being revealed, likely on subsequent pages. This page dives deeper into the huge announcement teased on the previous page, focusing squarely on Yu Suzuki's mysterious new project for Dreamcast. The main headline and large text confirm the title as Project Berkeley, and proudly announce it's coming to Dreamcast in spring 1999. Featured prominently are Yu Suzuki's name and the project title, alongside what is described as the actual flyer distributed at the announcement event. This flyer, according to the text, contained key details that put an end to the silence surrounding Yu Suzuki and AM2's next big move after Virtua Fighter 3. The content of the flyer is highlighted as something that surpasses all expectations, representing a significant new chapter, essentially a new page in gaming history. The page strongly reinforces that this groundbreaking project, Project Berkeley, is heading for the Dreamcast. This page takes us inside the Project Berkeley announcement event, reproducing the conversation that took place. It features Yu Suzuki in discussion with Chris Pepler and Fumiko Hamae, diving into details about this highly anticipated Dreamcast title. The core mystery explored is the game's genre, with RPG or something else being a prominent question, suggesting it defies easy categorization. Suzuki hints at a vast scale and a large, immersive world, aiming for a game experience that feels relaxed, full, and moist. A departure from typical arcade adrenaline. A key reveal is the sheer number of characters planned. They mention already having around 370 models completed, and aiming for over 500 by release. The conversation also touches upon Suzuki's design philosophy, tracing back to his work on titles like Hangin', Space Harrier, and Virtua Fighter, emphasizing his goal of expressing ordinary things ordinarily with advanced technology. This Project Berkeley seems to be the culmination of years of his pioneering work, representing a huge leap forward for the Dreamcast and AM2. This page continues the look at Yu Suzuki's upcoming Dreamcast title, Project Berkeley. It announces a formal presentation event scheduled for late December, promising more details about this highly anticipated game. A notable revelation is that the Dreamcast version of Virtua Fighter 3 TB is planned to include bonus video footage of the new project, offering players a sneak peek. The article also revisits the Tower of Babel demo shown at a previous conference, suggesting this visual might contain clues about Project Berkeley's world or themes. The discussion delves into why Suzuki, renowned for his arcade fighting and racing games like Virtua Fighter, is tackling an RPG genre. He explains that the RPG format allows him to fully utilize all aspects of his creative abilities, from production and talent management to ideas and technology, making it the only genre capable of encompassing his complete skill set. This large-scale project is being developed over 3 years for the Dreamcast, signaling a new direction for Suzuki and his team. The article concludes by stating the story will continue in the next issue. This page focuses on the Dreamcast version of Cyber Troopers Virtualon, Oratorio Tangram, known affectionately as Oratan by fans. It announces the game's official presentation event held on October 7th at Sega's headquarters, following its initial sudden announcement the day before at SEGA Conference 2. The page includes a Q and a section featuring Dr. Juru Kawara, Drive Watari, the producer of the Virtual On series. He addresses fan interest in the DC version's features. Dr. Watari confirms the game was shown at the conference, alongside ports of Virtua Fighter 3 TB and Galaxy Force 2, initially targeting a spring 1999 release. He emphasizes that the Dreamcast version is not a simple port, but will include significant additions suitable for home consoles, particularly highlighting his strong desire to make online communication battles a central selling point. Unlike the Saturn version where network play was a separate release, the Dreamcast version aims to integrate it from the start. Development involves AIM-3 division staff, not just external teams as with the Saturn port, indicating Sega's direct involvement in leveraging the Dreamcast hardware and online capabilities. Dr. Watari is committed to making the home version match or exceed the arcade experience. This article details the upcoming Dreamcast port of Cybertroopers Virtual On, Oratorio Tangram. AQ&A with producer Drive Watari reveals details about the home console version. The Dreamcast version will have features not seen in the arcade or X-Band versions, including adjustments to game balance. The team is exploring VMU utilization and considering new VR machines. Dedicated twin sticks are planned, with potential Saturn twin stick compatibility. Online multiplayer beyond 1v1 is being explored. The game boasts improved graphics, aiming for a unique home console experience beyond a simple port. Sega intends to develop new gameplay possibilities and online battles, positioning the title as a step forward for their consumer titles and the future of arcade-to-home gaming. Fans are encouraged to submit ideas. This page dives into the exciting synergy between the Dreamcast and Slink's new handheld, the Neo Geo Pocket. Announced for an October 28th release, the Neo Geo Pocket is highlighted for its diverse range of 8 color variations, sleek design, and a key feature: connectivity with the Dreamcast. The article covers the press conference, where SNK unveiled the handheld, noting the significant interest, including from foreign press, in the Dreamcast connection. A core part of this collaboration will be the ability to transfer data and characters between the handheld and the console, with the first game leveraging this feature planned to be from SNK's flagship King of Fighters series, slated for a spring release on Dreamcast. The page shows images of both the Dreamcast console and the Neo Geo Pocket, along with accessories like a communication cable, headphones, and AC adapter, detailing options for both wireless and wired connections for multiplayer gaming on the handheld. The article previews the upcoming October 28th launch of SNK's Neo Geo Pocket, highlighting its connectivity with the Dreamcast. The launch lineup includes 8 games, featuring fighting titles like King of Fighters Dar 1 and sports games such as Pocket Tennis. Upcoming releases promise a wider variety, including major SNK fighting series and titles from other companies like Metal Slug and Puzzle Bobble. The piece also analyzes the media's response to the Dreamcast announcement, noting significant coverage despite initial expectations. Sega's new strategy and Namco's involvement drove interest. The article also highlights the media buzz around SNK's Yukawa-san, predicting a positive impact on Dreamcast popularity. The article includes images from the press conference and newspaper clippings. This page dives into the Dreamcast's major public appearance at the Tokyo Game Show, held on October 9th. Amidst rising expectations for the console, the event, now the largest in Japan, provided a thorough look at Sega's offering. The Sega booth was entirely dedicated to the Dreamcast, prominently featuring its signature orange color and attracting huge crowds. The big news was the public unveiling of the Dreamcast itself, alongside numerous new game titles. Playable demos like Blue Stinger generated long lines, demonstrating player interest. The arcade fishing hit Get Base was confirmed for a Dreamcast port, with plans for a dedicated fishing controller, which sounds like a fantastic addition. While some titles like Warp's intriguing D2 and Geist Force were shown via video presentations, they still drew significant attention. Other playable games included NEC, He's Sengoku Turb, and Seventh Cross, as well as Judy. The show floor buzz highlighted the growing excitement and seemed to confirm that Sega's vision for the future of gaming was resonating with both the industry and the public. This page continues the coverage of the Tokyo Game Show '98 autumn, highlighting some highly anticipated Dreamcast titles available for attendees to experience firsthand. First up is Virtua Fighter 3 TB, which was available in a playable demo. Despite a limited character roster including Akira and Cage, players were impressed by the visual fidelity and smooth animation, showcasing the power of the Dreamcast. Development is ongoing for the full roster and stages, promising a high-quality port of the arcade classic. Next is Sega Rally 2, unfortunately presented as video only at the show, leading to some disappointment among attendees. The developers prioritized quality, aiming for a polished release. The presentation did reveal new champion cars joining the lineup, like the Subaru Impreza and Mitsubishi Lancer Evo IV. Player feedback noted some technical rough edges in the demo footage, but expressed optimism for the final version, though controls remain a key area of interest. Finally, Sonic Adventure was featured, revealing new details such as a hidden tornado plane location in Mystic Ruins. The demo showcased gameplay elements like Big the Cat's fishing mechanic. A significant highlight was the detailed explanation of the A-Life KO system, emphasizing how players can nurture, battle, and exchange KO using the Dreamcast's innovative visual memory unit. The ability to real-time morph and grow KO based on interaction was a particular point of interest. This page continues the coverage from the Tokyo Game Show '98 Autumn, revealing exciting monster-focused games utilizing the innovative visual memory unit. First up are two portable monster fighting games, Mothra Dream Battle, tentative, set for a December '98 release, and Gamera Dream Battle, tentative, due in March '99. Both are VMU titles, focusing on raising and battling iconic monsters. The big news is that these games can link up, allowing for a dream showdown between Toho's Mothra and Daiei's Gamera, a battle never before seen in film. Furthermore, the Dreamcast game Godzilla Generations was shown featuring a new mode called Atsumete Coliseum. This mode integrates with another VMU game, Atsumete Godzilla, allowing players to use the monsters they've collected in the portable title for exciting 3D battles on the big screen. The VMU itself can even be used as a controller in this mode, supporting up to 4 players for chaotic monster free-for-alls. It's clear the VMU is set to bring new dimensions to monster gaming. This page covers Taito's exciting announcements from the Industry Day at Tokyo Game Show '98 Autumn. The big news here is the reveal that Taito is bringing their popular arcade fighting game, Psychic Force 2012, to the Dreamcast. A press conference was held, where Taito representatives emphasized their commitment to a perfect port that retains the quality of the arcade version. Beyond the initial announcement, the Taito booth featured stage events. These included video screenings of the game and appearances by voice actors, who lend their talent to the characters in Psychic Force 2012. There was also a performance by Zunta, Taito's renowned sound team. The image shows the main protagonist Ryu from the game, along with Patty, another character, and screenshots of the game running, demonstrating how closely the home version aims to replicate the arcade experience. The goal is clearly to bridge the gap between the arcade and home, allowing players to enjoy the deep fighting mechanics at home, while potentially using the arcade for different experiences or competition. Beyond Sega's main Dreamcast presence, several companies showcased exciting developments. Atlus hinted at a new Dreamcast game with a mysterious video, likely featuring key developers Koji Okada and Kazuma Kaneko, though details remain scarce. Compile announced Puyo Puyon for Dreamcast, with planned releases from spring, showcasing linked gameplay and network support. Cree unveiled 2 titles, Aero Dancing featuring Blue Impulse, a flight simulator, and Buggy Heart, a 3D off-road racing game. Web System announced Cool Borders, a snowboarding game targeting a March release, promising enhanced visuals. Additionally, Sega's booth featured peripherals, a network demo, a themed arcade machine, Saturn content, a prototype console, a gold limited edition, and racing game footage. This page covers the highlights of the Tokyo Game Show '98 Autumn on Saturday, October 10th, focusing on the Dreamcast reveal. Kicking off the day at noon was an event featuring Sega's executive manager, Hidekazu Yukawa, where he interacted directly with fans and even exchanged business cards, showcasing his approachable persona that resonated with the audience, known from the iconic Dreamcast commercials. Later, a special event for the popular series Sakura Wars took the stage, featuring voice actors and series producer Oji Hiroi. They discussed the upcoming Taigeki Graph, interactive Cridrome, and even announced a special Christmas event for December 23rd. In the afternoon, the focus shifted to the fighting game Virtua Fighter 3 TB, with sound producer Koichi Sugiyama performing songs from the game and overseeing a tournament, personally handing out prizes to participants. Finally, the page presents the results of an emergency survey conducted by SEGA Saturn Magazine at the venue, polling 483 people. The survey covered opinions on the Sega booth, the pricing of the Dreamcast, the quality of the game footage shown, and purchase intent after trying the console. The results showed a generally positive reception, particularly regarding the booth and the visual quality, with many considering a purchase, often contingent on the software lineup. The report on the Tokyo Game Show 98 Autumn continues, focusing on October 11th. Sega Rally 2 took center stage at 2 p.m., with discussions about rally racing and exciting news about the Dreamcast version, including a championship mode with dynamic conditions. At 3 p.m., Kenji Ino from Warp performed music from D2, emphasizing the game's atmosphere. 4 related music trids are planned. An emergency survey of 483 attendees revealed Sonic Adventure as the most anticipated Dreamcast title, followed by Sega Rally 2. Respondents praised the Dreamcast's graphics, debated its price, and expressed excitement for games like Virtua Fighter 3 TB. The use of Windows CE was also noted for its potential to ease PC porting. This page covers the final day of the Tokyo Game Show 98 Autumn, focusing on a Dreamcast creators talk that caused quite a stir. The event featured prominent developers discussing the new console, including Yuji Naka from Sega AM2, Koji Hiroi from Red Company, Yoshiki Okamoto from Capcom, and Kenji Ino from Warp. They shared their perspectives on what makes Dreamcast stand out, highlighting its graphical power, sound capabilities, and network features. Kenji Ino spoke about his game, D2, while Yuji Naka touched upon Project Berkeley, later known as Shenmue. Capcom's Okamoto discussed their approach with games like Resident Evil Code Veronica on the platform. The most significant announcement was made by Koji Hiroi, stating that Sakura Wars 3 would be coming to Dreamcast and would support communication features. The creators discussed the evolution of game design and how the Dreamcast allows for new possibilities beyond what was possible on previous consoles like the Sega Saturn or PlayStation. The overall sentiment was one of excitement for the capabilities and potential of Sega's new machine. This page looks back at a significant week for the Dreamcast, focusing on events from October 6th to 11th, presented as a Dreamcast Festival, and features comments from various game industry figures. Koichi Nakamura from Chunsoft discusses how networking changes game interaction and makes it more accessible to a wider audience on Dreamcast, mentioning his anticipation for the city. Susumu Yamashita sees the Dreamcast, with its features like the modem and visual memory unit, as a potential catalyst to revitalize the industry and foster new game genres, noting that Sega has learned from its competitors. Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto expresses confidence in Sega's strategy based on the announced lineup, highlighting Capcom's commitment using the Naomi arcade board, and specifically mentioning titles like Resident Evil Code Veronica as a key part of their plan. Toshihiro Nagoshi from Sega AM notes the positive energy around Dreamcast and believes the performance gap between arcade and console is closing, mentioning Sega AM titles like Daytona USA and Spike Out as potential candidates for the platform. Finally, the magazine's editor reflects on the intense week leading up to the Dreamcast launch, covering major announcements like the price, software lineup, Capcom's participation, and Namco joining, concluding that this week solidified the feeling that the dream was becoming a reality. This page is the lively Reader Submission Corner, aptly titled, Let's Park King, where the magazine encourages fans to aim for the top spot with their contributions. It's a showcase of the vibrant community surrounding the Sega Saturn and the excitement building for the future. Readers share a variety of thoughts, from humorous personal anecdotes inspired by gaming, like seeing whirlpool patterns and thinking of Dreamcast, to discussions about specific titles. You'll find commentary on games like the impending arrival of Dreamcast itself. Reader takes on Saturn Magazine content, and mentions of games like Godzilla Generations and Shining Force. The page is also filled with reader-submitted illustrations, adding a personal and creative touch, featuring fan art related to games and characters. It reflects the passionate engagement of the Sega Saturn fanbase, sharing their experiences, hopes, and humorous observations about the gaming world. A special section is also dedicated to cheering on students preparing for exams, showing the magazine's connection with its younger audience. This page continues the lively reader interaction sections. The main focus is split into 2 areas. Do you love Love Squared? Dedicated to fan mail, possibly related to the game Love Squared or simply a themed section for general feedback, and Cyber Shopping Boys and Girls, where readers share their experiences with buying games and consoles. In the Love Squared section, fans from across Japan, like those in Niigata and Yamanashi, send in their thoughts and questions. They touch upon topics ranging from anticipating the Sega Dreamcast's release to sharing personal anecdotes inspired by games. There are mentions of titles such as the Mobile Suit Gundam series, specifically Zaku 2, and references to mecha games like Virtualon and Panzer Dragoon, often with a humorous or nostalgic tone. The cyber shopping boys and girls section features readers discussing their purchases and the gaming retail experience. Submissions from areas like Oita and Osaka highlight the excitement of acquiring new software and hardware. One reader humorously recounts buying a language set impulsively, while another discusses game prices. These sections capture the enthusiasm of the SEGA Saturn community, sharing their love for games and the culture surrounding them through personal stories and fan art. This page dives into reader interaction with two key features. First up is the humorous, "I hate things like this," a collection of submissions listing ridiculous and disliked situations. It covers everything from nightmarish dentist visits and peculiar eating habits to amusing parodies of the upcoming Dreamcast, suggesting comical variations like Marine Dreamcast and Dream Jumbocast. Below that is Higashikana's Boys Club After School Club, which is wrapping up in this issue. It expresses gratitude to the readers who participated and hints at a potential girls' corner in a future magazine. Submissions here touch on topics like the impressive 3D capabilities of the SEGA Saturn and even mention a notable Hyper Yo-Yo player popular at the time. The page concludes with a strong call for community participation in the Still Recruiting section, listing the various reader corners still open for submissions. Fans are encouraged to send in everything from daily life stories and illustrations to game-related anecdotes, questions, and manga, ensuring the magazine remains a vibrant platform for SEGA Saturn enthusiasts. This page is all about connecting with the readers through the Letters Park section. It kicks off with Gambare Shinjin-kun, cheering on new submitters who are joining in as the school year is winding down. The main event is the Park Gallery, a collection of fantastic illustrations from fans across Japan. We've got some great art here, including recognizable characters like Namisa from Soul Hackers, Rei Ayanami from Neon Genesis Evangelion, and characters from Walkenroder. There's even a cool piece referencing Alucard from Castlevania. The staff comment on the different art styles and creativity on display. Looking ahead, there's a little nod to the upcoming Dreamcast with the Ganbaru DC section, promising we'll meet again soon. The theme for the next round of submissions is a really interesting one for this era: Dreamcast port request, asking readers which SEGA Saturn games they desperately want to see ported to the new console. Finally, the information section lays out the ground rules for submitting art and messages. It details the required format, black and white, postcard size, mentions the point system for submissions, and lists the prizes you can earn, including book vouchers and game software. It's clear they want the community to stay active and contribute. This page features advertisements for strategy guides for two popular SEGA Saturn titles. The top guide is the perfect guide for Super Robot Wars Hef Final Chapter. It details the game, which brings together iconic mechs like Evangelion, Ideon, Gundam, Mazinger Z, Getter Robo, and Daytarn 3 to fight for peace. The text highlights how the guide thoroughly covers the game, including how the Rondo Bell team combats powerful enemy forces and uncovers the masterminds behind the events. It also notes that this guide is currently sold out, indicating its popularity. Below that is the perfect guide for Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Ambition. This guide is described as finally appearing and being a complete strategy book. It promises easy-to-understand strategies using maps, introductions to numerous in-game events, character profiles, weapon development conditions and lists, and all the essential elements for playing Giran's Ambition. It also features introductions to 3 hidden modes and covers the conditions for triggering every event. The guides are published by the SoftBank Publishing Division. Copyright information for the various anime and game series is also listed. This page features an article titled, "A Story of a Girl at the End of the 20th Century," focusing on the theme of loneliness and virtual reality. It tells the story of Tomomomi, a 20-year-old woman in a lonely marriage to an older physics lecturer. Feeling neglected and disconnected from her life, she finds solace and escape in video games after her husband brings home a console. What starts as a distraction becomes an obsession, leading Tomomi to play for hours on end, neglecting her health and daily life. The article portrays games as a world where she feels a connection she lacks in reality. However, this also leads to issues, and she's advised to seek help. Though her husband dismisses the idea of medicine, she realizes her husband also uses his work as a form of escape. The story concludes with her finding a potential new connection through a telephone club, contrasting the digital worlds. The article reflects on how virtual reality, including games, the internet, and computers, can both expand and potentially spoil one's life, ultimately depending on how they are used. The accompanying image shows a cluttered gaming setup with a monitor, a SEGA Saturn controller, other peripherals, and game creds, although the caption explicitly states the photo is unrelated to the story text. This page from October 30th, 1998, presents articles discussing social dynamics, otaku culture, and the concept of value. One article, part of a series, focuses on the communication issues faced by creepy game otaku and their desire for popularity with women, illustrated by a manga drawing showing social anxiety. This touches on themes of isolation and connection, similar to the previous page. Another piece explores the intrinsic worth of deep otaku hobbies and collections, arguing their originality transcends economic value, accompanied by an unusual illustration of severed heads. There's also a highlight on a 1998 artwork by Takashi Murakami titled My Lonesome Cowboy, which features the word Saturn. The page includes brief notes on recommended films, such as a USBASEDUFO romantic comedy. The content is provided by contributors active in writing, anime, and manga fields. This page features a manga strip titled Sega's Games Are the Best in the World, a classic phrase for fans of the Saturn era. The strip presents a humorous quiz show format hosted by the Quiz King character. Joining him is Dreamcast Girl, a personification of the upcoming Dreamcast console. The characters engage in a light-hearted discussion, including tackling the famous riddle of the Sphinx, which asks what walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 in the evening, with the answer being a human. The bottom text provides biographical details about the contributor, something Yoshimatsu, noting his birth year, his work, and his fandom. It also points out that this contributor is featured on page 53, which covers the game All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 for the Saturn, encouraging fans to check it out. The strip is a fun, character-driven piece celebrating Sega and its consoles and a magazine dedicated to them. This page explores gaming and personal life through 3 columns. Fumio Kurokawa's DC version Virtua Fighter 3 TB Startup analyzes the successful Dreamcast port of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, praising its visual fidelity and comparing it to arcade experiences. He reflects on the Dreamcast's potential and past console transitions. Toyohiko Yoshizumi's Ikebukuro Sara's Virtua Crash reflects on the profound influence of the Virtua Fighter series on his life, crediting it with shaping who he is today. He announces the end of his column and directs readers to his website, Black Russian, for more Virtua Fighter content. Finally, this week's Yukun provides a brief personal update about a child's close relationship with his father and mentions the purchase of a PlayStation Beat Mania game. This page celebrates the sound novel game Machi, presented as the 20th installment of the Machi Bulletin Board section, which has undergone a full renewal. The editors, Ume and Tetsu, express their excitement for the revamped section. The core of the page is dedicated to various reader submission corners, inviting fans to engage with the game. These include sharing favorite bad ends, predicting what a potential Machi 2 might be like, asking questions about the game's actors and locations, highlighting memorable dialogue, and even submitting photos recreating scenes from the game. A prominent gallery section showcases reader artwork, featuring illustrations of various characters such as Shoma, Yohei, Ushio, Meibe, Todu, Tanabe, Keima, Masashi, and Miko, demonstrating the fans' artistic passion for the game. A new section is introduced, asking readers to submit their favorite character expressions from the game. This page features a special interview with Duncan, known for his role as Fumio Ichikawa in the sound novel game Machi. The interview commemorates his film Ikanai, which he wrote and starred in, receiving the Ecumenical Prize at the 51st Locarno International Film Festival. The interview begins by discussing his memories of shooting the Machichi game, noting how unique the process was compared to typical filming. Duncan shares anecdotes about the extensive photography involved. The conversation then shifts to his award-winning film Ikanai, exploring the meaning behind the title, Don't Live. He discusses the film's themes, centered around a suicide tour group, and the depth of his character. Duncan expresses surprise at the film's reception abroad. The page also includes a profile detailing Duncan's real name, background, and works, including his role in Beat Takeshi's film 34 by 10 Month. Information about the movie Ikanai is provided, mentioning its premise and key characters. Finally, there's a giveaway of signed papers by Duncan. The interview highlights Duncan's transition from acting in a popular game like Machi to achieving international recognition as a filmmaker. This page is dedicated to the reader questionnaire postcard, providing instructions on how to fill it out and the survey questions themselves. It's designed for readers to offer feedback to the magazine staff. The questions cover reader demographics like gender, age, and occupation, as well as gaming habits such as how often they send in surveys and which gaming magazines they read. Crucially, it asks about their SEGA Saturn and upcoming Dreamcast collections. Readers are asked to list how many Saturn games they own and which hardware items from a provided list they possess. The survey also probes opinions on specific magazine content, like the cover, any included novel, and asks readers to rank the most interesting articles from a list. Finally, and perhaps most interestingly for a gamer, it asks readers to identify which 10 SEGA Saturn games and which 5 Dreamcast games from extensive lists they are planning to buy, offering insights into the community's upcoming purchases for both consoles. The lists include titles like Grandia 2, Sonic Adventure, Dead or Alive 2, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and many others, showcasing the exciting lineups for both platforms at the time. This page is the inaugural cover of the weekly Dreamcast magazine, launching on November 6, 1998. This first volume signifies the magazine's debut, proclaiming itself as the strongest specialist magazine for the Dreamcast, taking off on a weekly schedule. Notably, this publication is a rebirth and power-up of the SEGA Saturn magazine, evolving to cover Sega's new console. The cover prominently features Sonic the Hedgehog, a fitting icon for the dawn of a new Sega era. The magazine promises to gather the latest Dreamcast information every Friday, delivering timely updates to fans. Published by SoftBank, this cover marks an exciting new chapter for Sega enthusiasts, ushering in dedicated weekly coverage for the Dreamcast. Falcom Classics 2, released on the Sega Saturn in 1998, compiles 2 classic Falcom titles. The first is YS2, the sequel to the original action RPG, featuring an engaging story and characters. The second is Taiyu no Shinden Azteca 2, an adventure game with an icon system and CG visuals. JVC enhanced YS2 with new opening and ending movies with voice acting and voiceovers for in-game events. Both games received fully rearranged graphics and music, optimized for the Saturn. The compilation was available in a premium limited edition, with a soundtrack CD, and a standard special edition, both including digital image files. This late-era Saturn release offered enhanced versions of these classic PC games, providing a more immersive experience for players. This page features stunning artwork from the YS series, depicting Lilia looking surprised and Adol Kristen lying in the grass, accompanied by the poignant Japanese phrase, "I wanted to see you again." Following on the heels of the popular Falcom Classics 2 compilation, this page promotes the original Falcom Classics appearing now on the Sega Saturn Collection budget line. This compilation brings together 3 classic Falcom RPGs, YSI, YS2, and Castello. Players who have saved data from the YS games within this collection can load it into Falcom Classics 2 to unlock special voiced event scenes, a feature highly recommended for experiencing the sequel to its fullest. The page also highlights a special promotion, where 1,000 lucky fans could win an original YS character telephone card by the end of 1998. This release makes the initial Saturn Falcom compilation more accessible, offering a timed incentive for those who picked up the second collection. This page from Dreamcast magazine highlights the highly anticipated Sonic Adventure, showcasing the latest screenshots ahead of its December 17th release on the Dreamcast. As an action game priced at 5,800 yen, it promises exciting new experiences. The page features thrilling in-game moments, including Sonic on a pier facing off against a gigantic killer whale, and speeding through a desert landscape on a sandboard. 2 new action fields are revealed this week. One prominent location shown is Sandhill, a vast desert area filled with ancient ruins and cacti, where Sonic navigates dynamic slopes. The text teases the mysteries hidden within these sandy depths, and hints at the varied gameplay Sonic and his friends will engage in across these new environments, including a minigame. The bottom left of the page features cool artwork of Sonic, accompanied by lines like, "I'll never look back, I've got no regrets," and "I choose to go my own way," perfectly capturing his iconic attitude. The visuals demonstrate the significant leap in graphical fidelity coming to the Dreamcast. This page continues the exciting preview of Sonic Adventure, diving deeper into the game's environments. We get another look at the gorgeous Emerald Coast, highlighting the thrilling moment where a massive killer whale breaches and attacks Sonic on the pier, a truly dynamic and impactful scene. The focus then shifts to the desert stage, Sandhill. Here, Sonic is shown speeding across the sand dunes on a board. It's confirmed this level is full of dangers, including dragon statues erupting from the sand and giant rocks rolling down hills that you'll need to skillfully avoid. A key feature of this zone is a large pyramid. A developer note from Sonic Team's Takashi Iizuka reveals that the Sandhill stage is inspired by the real-world Pachacamac ruins in Peru, and specifically the pyramid is modeled after the iconic El Castillo pyramid at Chichen Itza in Mexico, known for its unique relationship with the sun during the equinox. While Sonic races past the pyramid on his sandboard, the page teases whether other characters might be able to explore its interior, adding a layer of mystery to this ancient structure. Even if you can't go inside, the suggestion is to at least try to reach the summit for the view. It looks like the desert offers a completely different feel compared to the seaside zone, with unique gameplay challenges centered around sandboarding. This page dives deep into the massive aerial fortress, the Egg Carrier, and specifically previews the Skydeck stage in Sonic Adventure. It describes the thrilling but dangerous experience of traversing the exterior decks of Eggman's flying headquarters. The text emphasizes the risk of falling into the sky below and the need for precise platforming. It also notes that enemies attack relentlessly, making survival a real challenge. Characters who can fly, like Tails or Knuckles, might have a slight advantage here. The article then shifts to a Sonic checkpoint, asking if the stages are a tradition from the series. It highlights that while Sonic Adventure introduces brand new stage concepts, like the previously shown Speed Highway, it also includes stages that feel familiar to longtime fans. The 3 stages presented here are used as examples of this blend. Sandsea is compared to the Sandopolis zone from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, noting the desert setting and challenging traps like quicksand and pyramids. Skydeck is likened to Sonic 2's Sky Chase zone, focusing on the airborne aspect. Finally, the Flying Battery section draws a parallel to the Flying Battery zone from Sonic and Knuckles, mentioning the similar theme of navigating a flying, industrial fortress with narrow pathways. It's clear the developers are paying homage to the series' history while also forging new ground. This page charges into the Egg Carrier stage in Sonic Adventure, specifically showcasing the Skydeck. It emphasizes the thrilling and dangerous nature of fighting on a massive airborne fortress. For Sonic, the stage is quite challenging, with unstable footing, constant enemy assaults, and intimidating giant weapons like powerful cannons that can easily send you flying. The article then details how other characters experience the stage. Tails, with his ability to fly, can bypass certain sections, potentially uncovering shortcuts, although his flight distance is limited. Knuckles' gliding and wall climbing skills offer a completely different way to explore the stage. These abilities allow him to traverse wide gaps and scale walls where no footing exists, suggesting he might find hidden paths or secrets. Finally, a quote from Takashi Iizuka from the Sonic team confirms the Skydeck stage is set on the Egg Carrier's wing, promising exciting action both below the clouds and on the wing itself as you battle the mobile fortress. He highlights that the stage is designed with unique features tailored to a moving base. It's clear the stage offers varied gameplay depending on which character you choose. This page provides a fascinating look at the battle system for what appears to be Evolution, World of Sacred Device, though the prominent title graphic includes EVO. Developed by Sting and illustrated by Osamu Kobayashi, the page features stunning artwork of the main characters, Mag and Linear, alongside the powerful message that, to protect precious people, the boy grows up greatly, highlighting the RPG's coming-of-age theme. The article delves into the unique combat mechanics, showcasing 3D battle screenshots. It details the user interface with character portraits and HP/MP bars, and explains concepts like area effect attacks that spread across the battlefield, noting that range is skill-specific. A key focus is the Psy-frame, described as a relic of an extinct ancient civilization. Adventurers, like Mag, use these compatible mechanical devices instead of traditional weapons to fight monsters and explore ruins. The text emphasizes the Psy-frame's adaptability, changing form based on its function, and being further customizable with additional parts, a core element of the game's progression. It's a captivating preview into the world and mechanics of this intriguing RPG. Evolution, World of Sacred Device unveils new details, highlighting its fast-paced battle system driven by an action meter and tactical considerations of character positioning and skill range. A key feature is a relationship chart centered on protagonist Mag, detailing his connections to key factions, including the Gan family, rivalry with Chain, Launcher family, trust with Linear and Gray, Republic's Academic Society, and the Imperial Army. The chart reveals complex relationships and potential plot points, such as ruin investigation requests and potential interference. Screenshots showcase dynamic 3D battles with parties of 3 engaging enemies and utilizing area of effect attacks. The game is a single-player RPG for the Dreamcast, developed by SEGA/especially Sting, priced at 5,800 yen, and set for release on December 23. The game focuses on detailed mechanics and narrative. Evolution: World of Sacred Device features a fast-paced battle system driven by character positioning and speed. Encounters initiate battles with preset formations, and turns are determined by speed. Players select actions, attack, skills, items, movement, defense, weight, for each character. A 3x3 grid, the player's area, influences combat. Front row boosts attack, back row boosts defense. Battles involve up to 3 characters. Victory returns players to the dungeon, while defeat sends them back to town. The system emphasizes tactical gameplay, encouraging players to anticipate enemy actions and optimize character placement for thrilling encounters. This page dives deeper into the battle system of Evolution, World of Sacred Device, building on the previous discussion. It focuses on the crucial information displayed during combat. The status section explains the gauges for character health, HP, and the fight gauge, which indicates how much energy a character has for skills, alongside icons showing any status ailments. The action meter is highlighted as the list on the right of the screen, showing the turn order for both allies and enemies. Combat is turn-based, determined by character speed, and this meter is essential for planning strategies and combinations with your party. The enemy's area is described as a 4x3 grid, slightly larger than the player's area, where monsters appear in formations, positioned in front, middle, or back rows. A significant reveal is Mag's new Psy-Frame technique. Screenshots demonstrate this powerful move, which involves Mag unleashing a massive spear to decimate enemies with impactful visual effects that are sure to excite players. The page emphasizes checking these on-screen details to master the strategic battles. The large illustration of Mag reinforces his central role. This page continues to delve into the intricacies of Evolution, World of Sacred Device's battle system, focusing on how encounters occur and the commands available during combat. It explains that encounters typically happen when you touch an enemy visible on the field. Striking from behind allows for a preemptive attack, giving you the first turn and putting the enemy at a disadvantage. Conversely, being attacked from behind results in a surprise attack, leaving your party at a significant disadvantage, sometimes even starting in unfavorable positions. The page also notes that battles can occur after specific events, sometimes forcing you into difficult starting formations. Once in battle, combat is turn-based. When a character's turn arrives, you select their action from a list of commands including attack, special move, item, move, defend, run, and auto. The action order is influenced by character speed and the actions taken, with more powerful special moves potentially delaying the next turn. Special moves consume points from the fight gauge. Unlike traditional MP, this gauge fills up as your party takes action during battle. Attacking actively seems to contribute more to increasing the gauge than simply defending, encouraging an offensive approach. The screenshots effectively illustrate the battle screen with character stats, the command menu, and enemy formations. Evolution: World of Sacred Device's battle system features turn-based combat with a focus on command selection and positioning. Players choose from 6 commands: attack, special move, consuming a fight gauge, move, repositioning, item use, defend, damage reduction, and wait, faster next turn. Attack damage increases with proximity. Wait speeds up turns but offers no defense, unlike defend. Ranged item use allows attacks without movement. Victory results in experience for leveling up, and technical points for learning new skills, awarded to the character delivering the finishing blow. Leveling increases HP and stats. Status ailments disappear after battle. Defeat occurs when the entire party is incapacitated, leading to consumable item loss and a return to town, but keeping gear, Psy-Frame parts, and character levels. This page delves into the strategic positioning mechanics within the battle system of Evolution, World of Sacred Device. The battlefield is divided into a 3x3 area for your party and a larger 4x3 area for the enemies, emphasizing the scale of some foes. Crucially, character placement in the front, middle, or rear rows has significant impacts, beyond just being closer to enemies. The front row offers high attack power, but low defense, and allows for quicker subsequent actions. The rear row provides high defense but low attack, and results in longer wait times until the character acts again. The middle row strikes a balance across all these aspects. This creates a constant trade-off players must consider based on character roles. While formation can be preset, characters can also use the move command during battle to shift one step forward or backward, consuming a turn's time. Adding another layer, certain special attacks or items can actually alter the enemy's formation, allowing players to strategically group enemies together for more effective area effect attacks. These positional tactics and the time cost associated with actions are key factors determining turn order and overall battle flow. This page dives deeper into the battle system of evolution. World of Sacred Device, explaining the dynamic action order. Unlike games with a fixed turn sequence, character and enemy turns are determined by an action meter. The meter's speed is influenced by three factors: each character's individual quickness, the waiting time incurred after using a command, more powerful actions or moving can take longer, and importantly, the character's position on the battlefield, which ties back to the front, middle, and rear row mechanics we've seen. The action meter clearly shows the upcoming turn order, allowing players to see who will act next and gauge the enemy's presence on the field. Acting quickly isn't just about getting hits in first. The page points out the critical advantage of being able to react promptly to situations, like using a healing item on a critically injured party member before it's too late. The page also details skill usage and effect ranges. Skills aren't just single target or area effect. The game features various range types designed to target specific enemy formations, such as hitting an entire horizontal row. Understanding these ranges is crucial for efficient combat, especially when facing multiple enemies lined up in different ways. There are also dedicated healing skills, and the page notes that sci-frame modifications can potentially alter a skill's range, adding another layer of strategic customization. The mention of unique ranges like the V range shows the game's intention to make positioning and skill selection highly tactical. This text previews the Dreamcast game Blue Stinger, introducing Janine King, a key supporting character. Janine, a brilliant MIT graduate and former ESER member, provides computer support to the protagonists, Elliot and Dog. Despite her elite background, she's not playable due to a leg injury, limiting her to a strategic role. The page clarifies her relationship with Elliot, explaining their different ESER class rankings. It also hints at Janine's reasons for being on Dinosaur Island, promising plot intrigue. Her injury prevents exploration, thus her support role. This character reveal gives insight into the survival adventure game's team dynamics, which was originally slated for a late 1998 release. This exploration of Blue Stinger reveals new areas and insights into Dinosaur Island. The jungle area, untouched by humans, contrasts with the previously shown urban environments, hinting at a preserved natural element or a hidden secret. The game's creatures are proposed to be transformations of ordinary animals, altered by a special substance, evidenced by monstrous depictions. The cold storage facility, vital for supplying the island, is also examined. It features a massive food storage system, with frozen creatures, including fish, revealing the bizarre transformations at play. The control room indicates large-scale operations. Overall, the page expands the game's world, adding mystery about the island's environment, creature origins, and infrastructure, all connected by a strange, transformative substance. This page delves deeper into the creature designs of Blue Stinger, showcasing the physical models created by the game's modeling staff. The main text highlights that all creatures appearing in the game are designed by Robert Short, an expert known for his work in Hollywood movies. These detailed models served as the foundation for the polygonal models used in the game, bringing the grotesque and imaginative monsters to life. Featured prominently are various creature models, including the reptilian caterpillar Dinosaur, the translucent, shape-shifting slime Dinosaur, the formidable plant dragon Dinosaur, and the mysterious Jaskini, notably lacking the Dinosaur designation and carrying a sense of intrigue. Also shown is the multi-limbed Spica Dinosaur, described as lurking in the cold storage area, a location explored on the previous page. The page notes that some of these creatures might be models for enemies not yet encountered in the game, adding anticipation for what lies ahead on Dinosaur Island. An in-game screenshot at the bottom corner provides a glimpse of the characters facing off against these creations in action. This page transitions from discussing the physical models of creatures in Blue Stinger to showcasing how they appear as digital 3D models within the game itself. We see the club Dinosaur, a mutated crab that cleverly attaches environmental objects like cars to its back, and the human Dinosaur, a more intelligent creature that retains some human form. Text explains that Dinosaur is the general term for all the mutated creatures on Dinosaur Island, which are the result of transformation by a special substance rather than a contagious disease. The name itself is derived from dinosaur, and a term meaning terror cell. Thanks to the Dreamcast's graphical capabilities, the grotesque original designs by Robert Short are faithfully brought to life with detailed polygonal models. Various screenshots show these formidable creatures in action, highlighting the intense combat and the terrifying forms the Dinoskynets take as you battle your way through the island. This page highlights the Dreamcast's cinematic suspense game, July, developed by 45 Company, Limited. Set against the backdrop of an impending global crisis in July 1999, the game follows the first 3 days of its protagonist, Makoto Takamura. Makoto is a 19-year-old university student with a past connected to a bus bombing 6 years prior that affected his sister and father. The narrative weaves together Makoto's personal story, encounters with characters like his childhood friend Eriko, who appears to be a medium, and major world events such as the start of the Gulf War. Screenshots give a glimpse of gameplay elements including a map for navigation and a post-chapter feature to review events and characters. July is a single-player game planned for release on November 27th. This page delves further into the world of the cinematic suspense game July, introducing key locations, characters, and background terminology. We see screenshots depicting Nishiumi University, where protagonist Makoto attends, the tea house Chappie, a place he frequents, and the hospital where his mother is admitted. A small map next to each location indicates the navigation system. Featured characters include Makoto himself, his professor and friends from the university, and Tsuchiya Yukiyuki, a friend involved in the Ingot organization which protests weapon manufacturing. The hospital section introduces Drive Sebastian, Nurse Sarah, and Makoto's unconscious mother, whose condition seems linked to the bus bombing incident 6 years prior. Finally, Satomi Eriko, Makoto's childhood friend, is shown. She is a supportive figure and skilled in karate. The page also provides a glossary to help players understand complex terms central to the narrative, such as sexless body, referring to mutated humans with unique abilities, the significance of the bus bombing incident that impacted Makoto's family, and conditions like melanin deficiency. This section highlights critical plot points and the unique elements of the game's setting. This page continues our dive into the suspenseful world of July, focusing on the events of the second day, July 8th. The main protagonist, Makoto, and his childhood friend Eriko attend a memorial service for the victims of the bus bombing incident, held at Yamate Park. Here, new revelations about the bombing come to light, and Makoto encounters a mysterious man, later identified as Yada Takekeshi, from Nanox Pharmaceutical. This man, who appears to be chased by others, quickly passes a crucial item to Makoto, a mysterious Mo disc, believed to contain important data. The page also introduces Suzuki Teruyoshi, a member of the Ground Self-Defense Force, who lost his wife in the bombing and becomes acquainted with Makoto at the service. Both Yata and Suzuki's profiles highlight their deep connection to the tragic incident, emphasizing the ongoing impact of the past on the present narrative. Screenshots illustrate these moments, showing character portraits, the game's interface, and cinematic scenes depicting the chase and the significant Mo disc. The atmosphere suggests that questions surrounding the bus bombing are far from answered. This page continues our look at the suspenseful narrative of July, moving into the events of July 9th, and providing background on the game's organizations and key characters. The page introduces Jean Ravin, the head of the powerful Ravin Financial Group, and the extensive Nax Group, which includes Nax Pharmaceutical and Nax Heavy Industries, involved in everything from medicine to heavy machinery and weapons. We also get a clearer picture of the main character, Makoto's, family situation. His father, Naoki Takamura, was involved in the terrorist incident mentioned previously and is currently hospitalized, leading Makoto to live with his grandfather. Eriko's family, the Satomi family, is also briefly introduced. The story section details a dramatic turn of events on July 9th. Makoto has a difficult phone call with his father. He visits his mother in the hospital where he meets Eriko, and they attempt to access the mysterious Mo disc obtained on the 8th. The disc appears to contain a program named Megumi. Later, while taking Eriko home, Makoto witnesses a suspicious person flee her house, which then immediately explodes or catches fire. The page shows screenshots of these key moments, including Eriko interacting with a computer, Makoto talking to his father on the phone, and Makoto observing the aftermath of the incident at Eriko's house. The narrative highlights the escalation of danger and deepens the mysteries surrounding the Modisc and the people involved. This page dives into the zany world of Pen Pen Tricelon, the action racing game for the Dreamcast. It provides a guide, specifically Part 1, focusing on the candy course. The page highlights that the game was recently shown off at a game show, allowing attendees to get hands-on with a development version and experience the racing atmosphere, including the competitive 4-player mode. The candy course is broken down, with the first area described as a slippery area, featuring Puru Puru Jelly Hill. This section is noted as being beginner-friendly, with wide paths and no complex tricks, perfect for getting accustomed to the controls. The tip box encourages players to practice mastering sharp turns and banked corners on the icy slopes. Screenshots showcase the vibrant, cartoonish graphics and diverse characters from the game, such as the penguin, hippo, and rabbit, racing through different environments. The character select screen is also shown, inviting players to pick their favorite racer, suggesting that different characters might be better suited for different course sections. The page also mentions new features like dash zones will be explained. Overall, it presents Pen Pen Tricelon as a fun, accessible racing experience. This page continues the guide for Pen Pen Tricelon, focusing on the subsequent areas of the candy course. Area 2, the running area called Candy Village, is highlighted as the second part of the course. It features obstacles like uneven ground, stairs that cannot be jumped over, slippery ice patches, and slowdown zones from puddles. The guide advises mastering jumps and encourages aggressive play by knocking opponents off course when possible. A wafer blower obstacle is noted, where strong winds push racers around. Next is Area 3, the swimming area around the Soft Cream Lighthouse. This part of the course is set in a soda sea at the base of a soft cream structure and is described as the shortest area in the entire stage. Finally, Area 4, the extra area known as Frappe Forest, is detailed. This is another slippery area, specifically part of the long Isethalon course. It's depicted as a fantastical course, adorned with colorful jelly beans and rainbow-colored snow. Unlike the initial slippery area, this section features narrow paths and technical corners requiring precision. A key mechanic mentioned for the latter half of this area is the ability to drop the fruit to interrupt opponents by interacting with trees. The page also briefly touches on how the areas transition seamlessly upon crossing a red line. The screenshots effectively showcase the vibrant, distinct environments of each area and the ongoing race action with the game's quirky characters. The Pen Pen Tricelon toy course features two main areas, Duckling Park and Bathtub Waterway. Duckling Park's running area begins with a chaotic scramble through giant toy blocks, followed by the duck pond, with bouncy balls for strategic jumps. Bathtub Waterway's swimming area winds through bathtubs filled with bath toys. Players must avoid obstacles like shampoo bottles and ducks, especially during the challenging, exciting duck jump sequence. The course also includes strategically placed waterways, offering potential route choices. Throughout the course, dash zones provide crucial speed boosts for inclines and maintaining momentum. Screenshots depict the course's vibrant toy-themed environments and key gameplay moments. This page examines aspects of Pen Pen Tricelon, focusing on the Zakopen characters and two race areas. The Zakopens are portrayed as inferior imitations of the main characters, with poor animation and often hindering races. Their goofy goal expressions are highlighted in contrast to the protagonists. The page then details sections of the Middle Isilon event. Area 3, Pinball Alley, is a fast downhill course with pinball elements, culminating in a high-speed tunnel jump. Area 4, Block Castle, is a difficult area with challenging obstacles like block soldiers and a rotating king statue. Players are advised to carefully time their dash zone entry to avoid setbacks. The page provides insight into both the character disparities and the specific course challenges within Pen Pen Tricelon. This page features the Dreamcast Now section, and this week's visual memory, which showcases a pixel art image titled Yogurt. The main focus is a direct interview with Gainax, specifically director and general manager Yasuhiro Takeda,
Regarding their potential participation in Dreamcast development, Takeda states that Gainax's participation on D9C is currently undecided. They are waiting to see the hardware's capabilities and form a concrete plan, noting their development style prioritizes ideas from the production floor. He finds the improved sound quality and 3D capabilities of the DC appealing from a user perspective. Gainax is known to anime fans for works like Neon Genesis Evangelion and the Princess Maker series. Other titles mentioned are Sadamoto Illustrations and Princess Maker 2, Yumemiru Yusei. The interview touches on their development philosophy, where they make games they find interesting and are often the first customers of their own work. Takeda mentions the possibility of collaborating with Sega on a game. A checkpoint section discusses Gainax potentially being involved with Dreamcast development through supervising titles, particularly Evangelion games, similar to their involvement with Bandai on the N64. The page also shows a screenshot of the Neon Genesis Evangelion, EVA and Fun Friends Mahjong game, describing it as a self-parody title. Gainax is characterized as a company prone to unpredictable, rapid changes in direction. This page dives deeper into the Dreamcast Now section, focusing on innovative ways to use the Visual Memory Unit, or VMU. The main feature here is a new corner proposing creative uses for the VMU. 3 proposals are highlighted. First, using the VMU for personal data like custom avatars. You could create a lookalike image, exchange it with friends, or even put your avatar on an arcade game's high score list by inserting the VMU. This is a cool idea for personalization and arcade integration. Second, suggesting vending machines that distribute data, allowing players to get game updates or other data conveniently, even if they don't have internet access at home. Third, proposes using arcade centers to level up characters or gain items for your home Dreamcast, RPGs, or adventure games. This could be a great time saver for players who can't spend hours grinding at home. Reviewers gave this last idea the highest praise, calling it the best. The page also announces the official price of the Dreamcast console, set at 29,800 yen. It congratulates the readers who correctly guessed this price. Furthermore, it shares the results of reader polls for the Dreamcast's nickname, with Dorikyasu and DC being the most popular choices among the entries. The editor even shares a personal favorite nickname, Dorikya. Finally, the section ends with a call for more submissions regarding VMU ideas and other Dreamcast-related content. This page introduces a new section called Naomi's Room, focusing on arcade games utilizing the Naomi board, known for its compatibility with the Dreamcast. The spotlight here is on the highly anticipated Dead or Alive 2, Dua 2. Following up on a previous interview, the magazine sits down again with Tecmo's Team Ninja, including producer Tomonobu Itagaki, for an emergency Q and about the game. They tackle burning questions from fans. Will there be characters other than Ion and Bass? Yes, more characters are planned, though not yet confirmed. Will characters from previous games return? The developers are considering fan feedback gathered on their website, hinting that some returning characters might be influenced by popular demand, or lack thereof. Are there any features utilizing the Visual Memory Unit? As this is still early in development, they state that Dreamcast's specific features like VMU support are not yet integrated, so they cannot answer at this time. Screenshots include an industrial-themed stage, images of characters, and a shot of the game running on an arcade cabinet. It's clear the development is progressing, and the team is listening to player input. This page continues, the Q&A, with Tecmo's Team Ninja about Dead or Alive 2 on the Naomi board. The developers discuss new systems unique to the game, starting with stage mechanics. They confirm various danger zones, including walls, floors, ceilings, and ring-out possibilities, going beyond the previous game's all-directional zone. A reference section highlights the evolution of the core system, specifically mentioning the pinpoint defensive holds introduced in Dead or Alive++. When asked about changes to the classic attack throw hold triangle, they state the core mechanic is inherited but promise new systems, citing critical counters from Dua++ as an example. Producer Itagaki expresses a desire to break the mold of traditional fighting games, suggesting significant evolution is coming. Regarding the release date, it's currently undecided but targeted for within 1999. The developers encourage fans to check their website for updates. The page concludes with a message from Tecmo, assuring fans they are working hard to meet expectations, utilizing their deep understanding of hardware capabilities
and that the full scope of Dead or Alive 2 will be revealed soon. Screenshots illustrate the discussion, showing characters interacting with wall and ceiling danger zones and demonstrating the pinpoint DH system. ZNet Japan's GameSpot is a free online resource delivering daily gaming news. It covers PC games with reviews, event reports, like the Tokyo Game Show 98 Autumn featuring Sega's Dreamcast, interviews, and industry opinions. The site offers news updates, translated reports, and links to over 300 Japanese game makers. Their coverage of the Tokyo Game Show will include the latest game details, stage event reports, and pre-show information. The site aims to bring the excitement of the Makuhari Messe to online viewers. The site is sponsored by SoftBank Corporation and ZDNet Japan. This page kicks off with the SEGA Saturn press. Woo! Aiming to wrap up all the hot info on Saturn software, the layout is pretty clear, breaking down the latest buzz into distinct sections. Down the left side, we have categories like Special Report, Coming Soon Soft, New Release Title, and Complete Guide. The Special Report teases new info on anticipated titles, highlighting Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, a must-play for fighting game fans. The Coming Soon Soft section gives us a peek at games right before they drop, featuring titles like Noel 3, Virtual Call S, and Rocks. For those who need their gaming fix right now, the New Release Title section covers fresh releases, including Capcom Generation Volume 4, known internationally as Blazing Fighters, and a Sankyo Fever Pachinko Simulator. Finally, the Complete Guide section is for the dedicated players, offering in-depth strategy with useful data for games like Mobile Suit Gundam, Girin's Greed, Martian Successor Nadesico, The Blank of 3 Years, and Shining Force 2, Scenario 3. These guides are essential for mastering some of the Saturn's deeper experiences. Visually, the page is dominated by vibrant anime artwork of 2 female characters. This style is characteristic of many visual novels and simulations on the platform. The copyright notice at the bottom links them to Fairy Tail, F and C, and Kid from 1998, strongly suggesting these are characters from a game like Noel 3, which is also featured here. A solid overview of diverse Saturn content. This page provides a special report on Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, focusing on the game's final boss, Apocalypse. He returns as the ultimate antagonist, having previously served as the boss in X-Men vs. Street Fighter, once again aiming to plunge players into despair. The article highlights Apocalypse's immense size, which dominates the screen. His attacks are detailed, specifically mentioning his ability to transform his left arm into a drill or a massive iron ball. Players must endure his relentless assaults. The only way to inflict damage is by targeting his gigantic left arm or head. But even then, he counters with lasers from his eyes or shoulder. Defeating him is tough, and the page hints that an even more formidable foe awaits afterward. A character profile for Apocalypse is included, describing him as the first mutant, an ancient being who has lived for millennia, believing only the strong deserve to survive. He is noted as an immortal mutant, although the text briefly mentions his death in the Age of Apocalypse's comic storyline. He's known for his conflicts with the X-Men, but the profile also adds that he has occasionally worked with them in the comics. The page also touches upon hidden elements for the Saturn version, hinting at secret characters or unlockable content, like the mention of Shumagorath. This page dives into unlocking the hidden characters and features in Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter on the Sega Saturn. It explains that the command inputs for selecting these secret fighters are much simpler on the Saturn compared to the arcade version, making them easily accessible. The article provides a list detailing which button combination is needed for each hidden character, including fan favorites like Mechzangif, Sunburnt Sakura, Shadow Lady, Yotis Agent, Mephisto, and Armored Spider-Man. It also covers the conditions required for CPU-controlled hidden characters to interrupt your game. Meeting specific criteria, such as starting from the beginning without using continues, and ensuring both of your selected characters survive the earlier matches, can trigger an appearance by a hidden fighter in the 6th match. There are also specific win conditions detailed for triggering certain characters, like Mechzangif, Sunburnt Sakura, and Shadow Lady. Furthermore, the page highlights unlockable options for the Saturn version once certain conditions are met, such as enabling same-character tag teams in various modes and gaining access to 8 different game speed settings. Finally, the page previews the next issue, promising an in-depth strategy guide for Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, starting with the basic systems. This page features Noel 3, an adventure game from Pioneer LDC. It's scheduled for a December release, priced at 6,800 yen, designed for one player across 3 discs and recommended for all ages. The game boasts a high completion rate of 95% according to the featured graphic. The article describes the game as a drama, portraying the tense, daily, and extraordinary lives of high school girls. Gameplay includes elements like conversations via visual phone and information gathering through computer virus hacking. The main objective is to safely rescue hostages held by terrorists.
The page also promises a detailed introduction to the game system and 2 new characters. Visuals show a prominent character illustration amidst technological wires, and a small screenshot displaying 2 male characters and a UI interface. The next page continues the look at Noel 3, giving us a deeper dive into the story and introducing 2 new characters. The story section elaborates on the Christmas party invitation from Yuka and how the player ends up involved in a situation where a tower is occupied by a mysterious terrorist group, with Yuka and her classmates taken hostage. The gameplay involves using a new OS to hack the tower for information gathering and hostage rescue, building on the hacking element mentioned previously. We are then introduced to 2 new key characters who add courage and laughter to the story. First is Natsumi Nishimura, described as a returnee from America with excellent athleticism. She's competitive and sees Satomi as a rival. Her athletic abilities are crucial in helping rescue classmates, as shown in an action screenshot. The second character is Kotomi Kodukai, a natural airhead from Kyoto born in Kobe. Despite the tense situation, she keeps the laughter going with her laid-back and easygoing personality, even during serious moments with Ayumi. Kotomi is also apparently a huge meat lover, to the point of experiencing withdrawal symptoms, and even asked Ayumi to bring her pet dog, Tarafuku, to the party. The page features character profiles with multiple angle illustrations, and a group shot showing Kotomi with other characters, including her dog. Noel 3 utilizes unique systems to navigate a hostage situation. The visual phone facilitates communication, primarily with key characters like Yuka and Ayumi, injecting moments of levity. Players select contacts and options, like text and pictures. The network connector allows hacking using Yuka's virus, Nanokun. This involves accessing nodes to gather information under time constraints. Success depends on Nanokun type, cautious, prudent, aggressive, and node compatibility. The interface shows hacking progress, with attempts consuming hit points and encountering obstacles. Successful hacks yield data, CPOCs. Character profiles are provided for Ayumi, the lively and fashionable, and Yuka, the mechanically inclined, including screenshots within the game's systems. This page continues our look at the intriguing systems in Noel 3. Here we explore the Pangs, a special camera drone created by Yuka, nicknamed Omoide-kun, Memory-kun. This drone is used to gather visual information. You can designate up to 3 locations for it to fly to, and it sends back still images, as video is not currently supported. The interface allows for precise location selection on a map, showing areas like the 3B classroom, the rooftop, and the CAD room. After the Pangs collects data, it's transferred, and a notification appears. The game then presents the results, including character identification if someone is found in the image. We see an example identifying character Ichiju Makoto. All the data collected, whether images or text like chat logs, is organized and stored in the folder section. This area is crucial for reviewing gathered intelligence.
We also get a glimpse of the game's character data presentation. A personal profile for Minatsuki Maiko is shown within the game interface. Another character, Sano Kurumi, is introduced as the ace of the track team, an excellent student, and competitive, though seemingly unconcerned by the rivalry from Tina. Finally, the page introduces a fascinating element, Arisa-chan, an AIOS, created by Yuka. Initially unstable in version 1.9, she was updated to version 2.0, dubbed Arisa 2 Gao, and acts as the protagonist's assistant. Her role is to provide intelligent judgment on situations and help with rescuing hostages, adding another layer to the game's unique mechanics. This page kicks off the second part of our first date guide series, focusing on the upcoming release, Virtual Call S for the SEGA Saturn. This isn't just any love simulation. It dives deep into relationships forged through the game's fictional VHG virtual headgear technology, which is described as offering visuals and sensory experiences. The core gameplay involves the Barcha Call system, allowing you to chat with up to 3 girls simultaneously, much like a modern online chat. Once you've focused on a particular girl, you transition to a two-shot for a private conversation, leading to possibilities like getting her phone number or asking her out on a date. Screenshots show the interface, including a view of a girl on screen with text suggesting careful conversation choices, and a lock-on system standby screen featuring 3 potential love interests. A major highlight is the Yobika Kikun feature. The game boasts that the girls will actually call out your name. A large pink section lists many Japanese names, indicating which ones are supported by this voice feature, adding a layer of personalized immersion. The page features striking artwork, including a prominent image of a girl in a bikini by the beach, and smaller chibi-style character art. It also confirms the game is recommended for players aged 18 and over. Release details mention a standard and limited edition available on October 29th. The text expresses excitement, noting the release is just 2 weeks away, and everyone is eagerly anticipating it. This page explores 2 romantic interests in the virtual calls game. Sayoko Sinu, a cheerful girl hospitalized since childhood, uses the system to connect with the outside world. Players can experience real-world interactions with her, including a date to an aquarium. Sayoko is portrayed as forward despite her circumstances. Chisato Kagurazaka is initially a source of information, but eventually becomes a romantic interest. She's reserved at first, but after several conversations, she invites the player for a drink.
Screenshots show her in a stewardess uniform.
The narrative hints at her surprising strength and a potential volatile temper, as aggressive advances lead to a conflict, ending on a cliffhanger. Both characters offer unique challenges and relationship dynamics. This page previews upcoming SEGA Saturn software, focusing on 2 unique characters likely from the Virtual Calls series. First is Ayaka Fujishima, described as an aspiring mad scientist who loves science and excels at puzzle games like those found in Cyber Speedway. She is extremely shy and suffers from past trauma, making social interaction, especially with men, very difficult. Conversations with her can be curt, and attempts at physical contact can lead to extreme reactions, including being knocked out with a syringe she seems to carry constantly. Despite her challenges, the player aims to navigate conversations gently and eventually secure a date. The second character is Karen Musiano Kuji, introduced via a rather dark context hinting at escort services. She is portrayed as having an inhuman appearance and a powerful physique, prone to violence against those she dislikes. Dating her is presented as potentially impossible or undesirable. However, a key gameplay mechanic involves getting close enough to her, two-shot, and engaging in combat, which yields information about other girls' preferences and desires. She is also linked to Ayaka, with the protagonist referring to her as an Object X, communicating with Ayaka. The page features screenshots showcasing Ayaka's cautious expressions and Karen's exaggerated, aggressive features and actions. This page introduces Mitsumi Arisugawa, another character from the upcoming Virtual Call S. Described as a selfish heroine, the report details a surprising initial meeting where she approaches the protagonist in Shibuya. Despite a somewhat brief first team meeting, she gives him her virtual home gate access card. Subsequent interactions include her asking him to accompany her on a school visit, which hilariously turns into sneaking into Seishin Jogakuin and nearly getting caught, and a scene where she comes to his house to cook, showing a more domestic and even playfully romantic side, with commentary about feeling like newlyweds. Unlike the characters on the previous page, Mitsumi seems more accessible and open to interaction, albeit with some quirks, and the progression suggests a potential romantic path. This page introduces Rocks = 6, an upcoming falling object puzzle game from Ultron, set to release on October 22, 1998. Described as a challenge to your brain and reflexes, it's a unique take on the genre, with a core mechanic different from traditional stacking games. Instead of simply matching colors or shapes, players clear blocks by pinching or sandwiching them between 2 matching blocks. You can clear blocks by sandwiching 4 blocks between 2 of the same number, or, more effectively, by using 2 blocks of the same number and color to clear everything in between, regardless of their value or color. The playing field is limited to a maximum of 6 blocks horizontally. The game also features a flashball item that can clear surrounding blocks and potentially trigger chain reactions. As you progress through the levels, the difficulty increases with faster block drops and the introduction of more colors. Versus mode adds obstacle blocks, which are sent to your opponent when you clear blocks. These blocks need adjacent blocks cleared to become normal. The page also offers strategic tips such as setting up vertical clears using the number 6, or focusing on clearing horizontal lines by arranging 4s. It supports 1 to 2 players, and is recommended for all ages. This page introduces Capcom Generation Volume 4 for the Sega Saturn, released on November 12. This collection focuses on 3 classic arcade shooting games that depict human conflict: Commando, 1985, Mercs, 1990, and Gun, Smoke, 1985. The collection includes a collection mode packed with bonus content like game information, a sound test, strategy guides, and character introductions. Commando is a top-down scrolling shooter featuring 8 stages, culminating in an enemy fortress. Players use rifles and limited grenades, which are vital for clearing groups of enemies. Mercs, the sequel to Commando, sends players on a mission to rescue a president from revolutionaries. Like its predecessor, it's a top-down shooter, but its highlight is the ability for up to 3 players to play together simultaneously.
Players can also utilize vehicles.
Gun. Smoke is a vertically scrolling shooter set in the Wild West, where the goal is to defeat outlaws and restore peace. It employs a distinct control system using 3 buttons to allow players to shoot in 3 directions: forward, right, and left, offering strategic depth. The objective is to defeat bounty targets to advance. The page includes screenshots of all 3 games, showing the top-down military action of Commando and Mercs, and the vertical scrolling western setting of Gun. Smoke. This page showcases Sankyo Fever Jiki Simulation SES Volume 3, the 3rd installment in a popular series of pachinko simulators for the Sega Saturn. Developed by TEN Kenkyujo, this volume focuses on popular machines from Sankyo, particularly those from the beloved Yume-Yume-chan series. The game faithfully reproduces the feel and mechanics of real pachinko machines, including real actions, ball movement, and digital displays. You can even switch views between the LCD and drum sections and study data to help improve your strategy. Several specific popular machines are featured, including Fever Powerful 2i, CR, Fever Super 9JX, which introduces Nana-chan alongside Yume-Yume-chan, Fever Queen 2 with its striking central drum, Fever Magical Yume-Yume-chan, and the unique Fever Big Chime. For the ultimate authentic experience, a dedicated handle controller is available, built using parts from real pachinko machines to replicate the feel of being in a parlor. They even note you can fix the handle in place without getting yelled at. There's also a special promotion where purchasers can enter a lottery to potentially win a real Sankyo pachinko machine. Images on the page show the digital displays and designs of the featured machines, character art from Fever Powerful and Crossing Fever Super 9JX, and a picture of the dedicated handle controller. 2 official publications for the Sega Saturn game Sakura Wars 2 are highlighted. The Sakura Wars 2 Complete Strategy Guide, Days of Love and Battle, is a 464-page full-color guide, a 5-size, 1,800 yen. It offers character-specific walkthroughs, a story digest, and extensive data to aid players in both romance and combat, featuring the main cast on its cover. The second publication is the Sakura Wars 2 Original Art and Setting Materials Collection, a 4-size, 160 pages, 2,000 yen. This book provides character art, setting materials, storyboards, and data on the LCG and Kubu systems. It also includes interviews with the cast and staff, plus a poster by Shuichi Matsuda, and plans for a grand Imperial Theater model. This page focuses on the official strategy guide for the Sega Saturn title, Mobile Suit Gundam, Girin's Greed. The article emphasizes that while dedicated players may have quickly completed initial operations, the true depth of the game, including all special data and hidden instructions, is only fully revealed within the comprehensive strategy guide. It suggests that the nights of strategizing are far from over for serious fans. The guide promises to unveil undisclosed data and strategies for key operations, such as dealing with the devastating solar ray and defending strategic points like Odessa. Screenshots display tactical maps and scenes, including a moment from Mobile Suit Gundam, the 08 THMS team, hinting at the game's expansive scope and the guide's detailed coverage of strategic situations and character-driven events. It highlights that mastering the game involves more than just completing missions, but understanding all the intricate details provided by the guide. This page explores the varied special data scenarios available in Mobile Suit Gundam, Girin's Greed, offering diverse ways to play the game. A major highlight is the introduction of the Third Force, allowing players to command factions beyond the standard Federation and Zeon plunging into chaotic three-way battles from the start. The article details challenging scenarios like the desperate final days of the Principality of Zeon during the One-Year War, or difficult situations for the Earth Federation. Conversely, it showcases a powerful Federation scenario, where players begin with advanced technology, able to produce high-performance units like the Gym Sniper 2 from turn 1, and easily overwhelm the enemy. The page features character profiles for figures like Char, Dazzle, and Garmazabi, and Revel, along with unit stats for iconic machines such as Char's Rikdom and the Adzam. These special data sets provide unique strategic depth and offer players dramatically different experiences of the One-Year War. To Space is a late-game challenge in Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed, starting at turn 120 with a 30-turn time limit. The scenario focuses on an all-out war between the Federation and Zeon, demanding strategic unit management. The map is packed with units from the start, featuring key pilots and powerful mobile suits for the Federation, while ground control is limited to Torrington, forcing a space-focused battle. A crucial objective is defending Luna 2, the Federation's only space base. Its loss severely hinders ground force deployment and supply lines, making offensive operations difficult. Holding Luna 2 allows for reinforcement from ground bases and a push toward Solomon. The scenario incorporates pilot interactions during battle, featuring pairings like Chris/Bernie, Kawa/Gato, and Bright/Mirai, adding depth and capturing iconic moments from the Gundam universe. The next page dives into unlocking hidden scenarios in Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed. You can access these extra challenges either by holding L and R while pressing start on the title screen, or by selecting special save data from the menu. This page focuses on the Heaven and Earth scenario, a late-game test starting after turn 120. Unlike the space-centric two-space scenario, this one puts Zeon on the offensive, attempting to conquer Earth with their most powerful units, while the Federation must defend with its elite forces. The strategic situation demands careful unit management, highlighting the importance of mobile armors, which are powerful but vulnerable if surrounded. A crucial point of contention is the defense of Torrington Base on Earth. Holding this single Federation ground base is vital for reinforcing troops and preventing a rapid defeat. The scenario features unleashed heroes and powerful mobile suits, including characters like Marion Welsh piloting the Perfect Gundam, Casval, Char, with his custom Gundam, and even lower-ranked pilots getting high-performance machines like Gelgoogs, making for intense, large-scale battles. This page offers a guide to unlocking the various endings in Mobile Battleship Nadesico, the blank of 3 years. As an expert player, I know this game features a significant number of endings, including bad ones, driven largely by the player's relationships with the different female characters. The core mechanic involves navigating a personality matrix and building affection, aiming to reach the love zone with your target girl, which is essential for triggering character-specific epilogues. The guide emphasizes that adjusting your personality points and getting closer to characters from the very beginning, during the prologue, is crucial, as the state of your relationships at the prologue's end determines which of the game's 5 main scenarios you will branch into. Each scenario starts you on a path influenced by your initial bonds. A specific hint is provided for accessing the special Gekigan scenario. Selecting the option to show Nanako's photo during a key choice allows for greater control over your relationship stats. The guide also strongly recommends frequent saving and checking the feeling data screen, which visually shows how your choices are impacting character relationships via arrow movements. This allows players to fine-tune their approach and reload if a choice proves detrimental, ensuring they stay on track to achieve their desired character ending, using the example of successfully pursuing Ruri compared to failing. This guide provides strategies for Mobile Battleship Nadesico, the blank of 3 years, focusing on character-specific routes across 2 main scenarios branching from Disc 2. Scenario 1, The Buried Proof of Love, prioritizes relationship building, heavily influenced by Disc 1 interactions. To succeed, players must foster strong bonds. For Eureka, early apartment conversations are crucial. Arena requires maximizing limited encounters. Ruri's route demands careful monitoring of feeling data and a specific virtual room event on Disc 2. Failing to build relationships leads to Yuri-Batake events. Scenario 2, The Heritage of the Void, features 4 distinct girls: Yukina, Minato, Ines, and Izumi. This scenario necessitates focusing on a single girl from the start. For Yukina, caring for her after a shopping trip is vital,
Minato requires focusing on the shopping trip choices. Ines favors an aggressive approach and enjoys gags. Izumi, also liking gags, requires the cosplay event. The guide highlights the difficulty of the Ines and Izumi routes.
This page details Scenario 3. Thoughts are in the void. For mobile battleship Nadesico, the blank of 3 years. Unlike previous scenarios, Disc 1 in this route primarily features only Ruri and Hikaru as potential love interests. However, the path branches significantly from Disc 2, determined entirely by the state of the personality matrix, where the pointer sits on the passive/active axis dictates the split. The focus here is on the moon route, where if you follow this path, Ryoko and Rabio become the main characters for relationship building, and they are the only ones you can essentially get on this route, though you can rejoin Ruri and others later. The guide shows the love zone distribution map and explains how to interpret the selection branch display, indicating that choices influence character feelings and personality shifts. Key events highlighted on the moon route include arriving at the lunar base to pick up Ryoko and the appearance of Rabio. There's a sudden enemy attack by the Devil Tetsujin, emphasizing the need for support from Ryoko and Rabio. Screenshots show character art for Ryoko and Rabio, a crucial feeling data screen featuring only these two, and images related to the events like the enemy robot and spaceship battles. The relationship with Ryoko and Rabio starts here, making careful choices essential as you enter Disc 2. While a sea battle route is also mentioned, the primary detail provided is for the moon route. This page covers the sea battle route in mobile battleship Nadesico, the blank of 3 years, where your mission is to destroy a submerged tulip. On this route, the protagonist remains on the Nadesico as an Estivalis pilot, and the primary relationship targets become Ruri and Hikaru. Their contrasting personalities create frequent situations with binary choices, making your decisions crucial for the branching paths. The route begins peacefully, sailing across the Pacific, where you find a Geeky Ganger video, even including a rare Geeky Ganger card as a bonus. This discovery triggers several events. Depending on your choices, you might end up giving the video to Ruri in her room for a viewing party, or getting pulled into a situation in Hikaru's room where she asks you to model. A significant mechanic highlighted here is the hot gaze time. These are special moments with either Ruri or Hikaru that occur after specific events, like watching the Geeky Ganger video with Ruri, or navigating the modeling request with Hikaru. These scenes are depicted with close-up character art and dialogue, indicating they are key opportunities to deepen your bond and influence the character's feelings, showcasing rare expressions or reactions. For instance, the hot gaze time with Ruri shows her becoming shy and blushing, while with Hikaru, it helps her regain confidence after a moment of vulnerability. Your interaction in these moments is critical for advancing your relationship on this route. This page shifts focus to Scenario 4, titled, The Distant Star You Aim For, in mobile battleship Nadesico, the blank of 3 years, detailing character strategies for securing relationships with Ruri, Mikako, and Akito, later joined by Asami. It features a cosplay event check, noting that various costume events with 3 characters start on Disc 1, requiring multiple playthroughs to see them all. The Love Zone distribution graphic visually represents Mikako, aggressive, Akito, cool, and Megumi, passive, and how their zones influence interactions. The page provides patterns for each character. For Megumi, the key is quickly becoming her manager and following instructions. Returning from Okinawa sets up a crucial hot gaze time for a kiss, and a high relationship score can lead to her visiting your house where complimenting her cooking, choice 11, delicious, wins her heart. For Mikako, she's easier to get along with than Megumi. Dating her is vital, with a virtual box invite event, choice 12, appearing late in Disc 1, and hot gaze time being important. For Akito, the path involves a specific choice. Choice 4, leave the bar in a huff. Meeting on the rooftop is a key event. And surprisingly, progressing with Akito requires actively avoiding getting along with Megumi and Mikako. Decision chart examples illustrate how choices influence character reactions and relationship status. But note that outcomes depend on your current game state and affinity levels. This page details the start of Disc 2 in mobile battleship Nadesico, the blank of 3 years, explaining how the scenario branches into 3 patterns based on your status from Disc 1 after checking information online. It highlights that the flow changes depending on your affinity with Megumi, Mikako, and Akito, with Mikako's route being particularly significant. The start of Disc 2 involves karaoke with Megumi, JMR, and manager Aikida.
You get to choose what song to sing, including the song Like Myself as shown in a screenshot.
After this, you can access the internet at home to check Asami's information and also choose which character's homepage to view, Megumi or JMR, influencing compatibility. You can also vote on song requests. The page then breaks down the 3 potential character paths. The Megumi pattern is tied to her birthday, triggered by choosing to check her door. The Mikako pattern occurs when you've become quite close and she calls you, leading to a scene in her room where you make crucial choices about her past, including a secret about her mother being an idol who died giving birth to her. The Aikido pattern is less common, often triggered by eating ramen together, and requires carefully managing relationships, prioritizing Akito over Megumi and Mikako. Screenshots depict Megumi looking introspective, Mikakiko in bed, and Akito working at a food stall, each representing moments within their respective patterns and associated choices. The game emphasizes that these crucial decisions lead to rapid story development. The next page dives into Shining Force 2I Scenario 3, Cult of Destiny, specifically detailing Battle 18, titled Those Who Lurk in the Darkness. This map features several enemy units including skullfish, sandworms, and hydras, with reinforcements arriving later. The map highlights key points like enemy appearance zones, the location of Julian's army, and breakable barrels. The strategy suggests preparing near the church before engaging and focusing on taking down the skullfish boss, which is weak against bow units and has high evasion. It also mentions a second fight featuring the Skull Warrior boss, noting its paralyzing attack, and that it's the boss of the first trial. The page also covers the village of Maya, detailing various locations like the church, headquarters, item shop, weapon shop, Ishikado's house, and the machine factory. After an event at Ishikado's house, the village becomes freely explorable, with hidden items found by breaking barrels or checking specific spots like the basement entrance. A new allied unit, Primuling the Fairy, joins the force, detailed with her stats, abilities like Soul Siphon and Fairy Soul, and support capabilities. Notable items found or available include the Ankh of Tora Mitora, Orichalcon pieces for crafting powerful weapons, and healing water. The page emphasizes exploring the village thoroughly for these valuable items. This page covers the next 2 trials in Shining Force 2I, Scenario 3, Gracia and Destinia, starting with Battle 19, the first trial. The objective here is to defeat the boss, the Skull Warrior. You'll face chimeras, a thief, and hell succubi initially, with reinforcements of Cerberus and sandworms arriving. Strategy revolves around managing Gracia's movement to control enemy reinforcements and dealing with the hell succubi near the boss. Keep an eye on the Cerberus spawn points, as they can be blocked. Valuable items like the Dragon Rod, Goddess's Tear, and Healing Water can be obtained from treasure chests, some accessed via a trolley within a cave area. Capturing multiple blue dragons from the previous battle can even replace some Cerberus reinforcements. Following this is Battle 20, the second trial, which shifts focus from pure combat.
The goal is unique. Arrange 4 special clay figures next to Gracia on the map. The map is laid out like a chessboard, and stepping on certain colored panels triggers wall attacks like Spark, Freeze, and Blaze. Skullfish and Chimera reinforcements appear as you progress. The clay figures move 5 steps per turn and react to obstacles. The strategy involves positioning your team to guide the figures into place around Gracia, as their positioning triggers events and reinforcements. Successfully completing this trial leads to Gracia, and potentially Julian, receiving high-level class promotions.
This page is a feature from Capcom. Hello! Capcom Volume 63, highlighting 2 key releases. First up is Metal Walker, a unique portable LCD game that functions as a pedometer. The core concept involves walking to evolve your robot companion, with over 20 different forms possible. The game includes features like communication battles where you link 2 devices, item discovery using radar, a training mode to boost stats, and a main screen that displays your walking progress and evolved robot. Capcom also ran a contest associated with the game, rewarding top players with customization parts and certified data for their highly evolved units. The second major focus is the Street Fighter Artist Album. This CD compiles theme and commercial songs from Street Fighter II, featuring music not just from the games, but also the anime and movie adaptations. A special first-run bonus included 2 35mm film strips from the theatrical anime. Finally, The page previews the next issue of this feature, promising the final results announcement for a character popularity contest, along with other fan contributions.
This page features an interview with Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto and Tatsuya Minami, discussing Capcom's plans as the Dreamcast launch approaches. The focus is heavily on Capcom's Naomi arcade board and its close relationship with the upcoming Dreamcast hardware. They talk about the development of arcade titles like Gigawing, a challenging shoot-'em-up shown with a screenshot, and the philosophy behind its design. A major topic is Power Stone, announced as a Dreamcast launch title, which they describe not as a typical fighting game but an action game played in a 3D field, emphasizing combat in the environment. This game was developed by the team behind Rival Schools. They also confirm Biohazard code. Veronica is in development for Dreamcast. The interview highlights their strong belief that the success of the Dreamcast is crucial for the health of the entire game industry. They express their excitement for developing on the Dreamcast platform, stating they are doing it because they genuinely want to. In a lighthearted moment, they joke about opening a takoyaki stand if the Dreamcast were to fail. There's also a small note about the character Tofu from Resident Evil, making an appearance at a SEGA conference, sparking speculation about his potential appearance on Dreamcast. The overall tone is one of anticipation and a sense of responsibility for the upcoming console generation. This page features Capcom's 3D fighting action game, Tech Romancer. Running on Capcom's System 12 arcade board, it's highlighted as a fusion of anime and games, promising a fresh experience. The article details key gameplay mechanics, including the strategic use of items and the intricacies of the grapple attack system, which incorporates a unique rock-paper-scissors element between button inputs. J beats A beats G beats J. The page showcases several of the playable giant mechs and pilots, providing a brief overview of their special abilities, which come in 3 distinct types: red, blue, yellow, offering varied effects like attacks, projectiles, and status changes. Characters mentioned include the titular Kikai-O, Wizudak, Palshan, Dixon, Bolon, La Fararga, Diana, and Tywin. Additionally, it provides glimpses of some formidable boss characters players will face. For dedicated fans seeking in-depth information on the roster's detailed settings and move lists, the article directs them to the official Capcom website. This looks like a exciting mech combat game from Capcom during their prolific arcade era. This page features SEGA AM2 R&D Express Volume 114, highlighting the reaction of Mr. Fumio Kurokawa, former SEGA AM2 publicity and now publicity director at Digicube, to the Dreamcast version of Virtua Fighter 3 TB. Having left SEGA in '96 and seen numerous games released since, Kurokawa, knowledgeable about the challenges of porting high-end arcade games, was initially skeptical. However, upon witnessing Virtua Fighter 3 TB running on the Dreamcast, his expression completely changed. Phrases like, "This is amazing," and "unbelievable" are shown as his reactions, indicating his genuine shock and praise for the quality of the port, noting how the characters moving on screen looked incredibly real, exceeding his expectations for a console conversion. The page includes photos of him playing the game and screenshots demonstrating the impressive visuals, showcasing how well the arcade experience translated to the new console. This page delves into the Ocean Hunter, the Seven Sea Adventure, an impressive underwater gunshooting title from SEGA AM1 R&D department. Number 1. Running on the powerful Model 3 arcade board. The article highlights the game's incredible realism, particularly the detailed depiction of underwater environments with realistic bubble and debris movements, truly conveying the feeling of being submerged. Stage 2, the Luna Sea, is showcased, set in ancient ruins that serve as a lair for various sharks. Enemies encountered include hammerheads, manta rays, and eventually, the massive boss, Leviathan. The text emphasizes the sheer number of enemies and the importance of systematically taking them down. The enemy check section details the different enemy types and their attack patterns, noting the challenging nature even of regular foes. A key focus is the terrifying boss Leviathan, described as overwhelmingly large and a true test of skill. The strategy for defeating Leviathan involves waiting for the moment its mouth is open and unleashing a barrage of fire on its weak point. The article praises the realistic scale and movement of this gigantic creature, noting it will awe players. The commentary suggests the game is a highly regarded entry in the gun-shooting genre, emphasizing the dynamic enemy encounters and the thrill of facing off against the colossal boss.
This page features 2 publications, starting with Cat Shit 1 Volume 1 by Motofumi Kobayashi. This acclaimed series, previously serialized in Combat Magazine, presents a unique and surreal depiction of the Vietnam War starring rabbits and cats. The book collects the adventures of Pucky and also includes the hard-to-find Dog Shit Number 1. It's available for 950 yen plus tax. The second publication is Webcomics Volume 1, a digital comic anthology that was originally published online. This volume collects CG art and comics by a range of renowned professionals, including Kiya Asamiya, Toshiki Yui, Kamui Fujiwara, Motofumi Koyama, Milk Morizono, Tsuguo Okazaki, and others. It represents a move from digital online format to a print comic collection. This anthology is priced at 1,200 yen plus tax. The page also includes visual examples of the art and comics featured in the Web Comics collection.
Both titles are published by SoftBank Corporation. This page features an interview with Hosako Nomiya, the director of Dirt Devils, from Sega's AM3 Research and Development Department. It's presented as the third part of a series showcasing AM3's projects. The article highlights the upcoming release of Dirt Devils and delves into Nomiya's experiences and challenges during its development. Nomiya, who previously worked on titles like SWAT and Columns, discusses his first racing game project. He explains the inspiration for the game, particularly the desire to create a visually distinct driving experience, after finding many recent driving games looked similar. Visiting real off-road races and witnessing the dynamic action of pickup trucks jumping was a significant influence. He also details the difficulty in balancing the realism of rough terrain with engaging gameplay, aiming for a dynamic but not comic feel. The page includes several screenshots showcasing the game's off-road tracks and vehicle action, along with bullet points summarizing key features like it being a SEGA AM3 title, potentially releasing in October, being a racing game, supporting 4-person versus play, and running on the Model 3 board. The article emphasizes the importance of capturing the raw energy of off-road racing while ensuring it remains fun and not overly simulation-heavy. This page continues the in-depth look at Sega's Dirt Devils, featuring an interview with the game's director, Hosako Nomiya. The article delves into the philosophy behind the game's design, emphasizing the intention to break away from traditional racing game norms by deliberately incorporating elements like aggressive contact between vehicles and the chaotic nature of off-road jumps and crashes. Nomiya explains that while other racing games might treat these actions as taboos, Dirt Devils embraces them to capture the raw excitement of American off-road racing. He discusses the challenge of making these dynamic physics engaging without being overly realistic or comical. The game features unique course designs with hidden shortcuts and varying difficulty layers, designed to be discovered through repeated play rather than explicitly signposted. The scoring system is highlighted as different, focusing on prize money earned from race performance and even aggressive actions, shifting the focus from just achieving the fastest time. Nomiya stresses the importance of the versus mode for fully experiencing the game's unique competitive elements. Several photos are included, showing real-world Toyota race trucks, pit areas, start locations, and even local musicians, illustrating the research trip that inspired the game's American setting and atmosphere. This feature highlights AM3's goal to deliver a distinctly different, high-energy off-road racing experience centered around player interaction and exciting physics. This page features This Week's Fortune Telling by Mother Hakozaki for the period of October 16th to 22nd. The main highlight is the horoscope section, presented with a brief introduction to Mother Hakozaki, described as having over 20 years in fortune-telling, recently spending her days consulting with the editorial staff. The page also features This Week's Lucky Person, identified as Yuri Takao, born October 22nd, and a Libra. Her section includes a brief reading about her fortune for the week, noting that her luck is finally picking up after a rough start and will continue next week, particularly highlighting good financial luck. An anime-style illustration of a girl, likely representing Yuri Takao, accompanies this section. The majority of the page is dedicated to horoscopes for all 12 zodiac signs, Aries through Pisces, each split into readings for boys and girls. Each sign has a small illustration of a face or animal representing it, also split by gender. The horoscopes provide short, personalized readings for the week ahead, covering general luck, health, work/study, and love. This section is presented in a clear, grid-like format, offering weekly guidance based on astrological signs. This page showcases reader-submitted SEGA Saturn game techniques, themed around autumn activities. Featured are various cheats and hidden features across different games. Notable techniques include a hidden command mode in Beginner, Yomigeru Yushitachi Hisho Hen, activated by specific button inputs. The Capcom Generation Volume 2, Ghosts and Goblins titles, a dual-wielding technique using golden armor is revealed. 10. General tips include playing multi-disc games without swapping, viewing all game events, and maximizing unit abilities in a strategy game. Hidden features to alter character levels and force clear sections are also mentioned. Finally, a unique health recovery trick for Naga in Slayer's Royal 2 is detailed, referencing her signature move. The page encourages readers to submit their own Saturn game secrets for future issues. This page presents the weekly software review section, highlighting upcoming SEGA Saturn titles scheduled for release between October 16th and October 22nd. It features hands-on impressions of pre-release builds. 2 games are reviewed with multiple perspectives: Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter and Strikers 1945-2. Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, a highly anticipated fighting game, is reviewed based on a 100% complete sample. The reviews suggest it's a largely faithful arcade port, notably requiring the 4 MB expansion RAM cartridge for smooth performance with minimal slowdown. While the core fighting is praised, some reviewers point out minor stiffness in character animations and occasional inconsistencies in hit detection, but generally, it's seen as a strong port that captures the fun of the arcade's tag team chaos. The average score is 8.0. Strikers 1945-2, a classic vertical scrolling shoot-'em-up, is also reviewed from a 100% complete build. Despite its high base difficulty rating as hard, reviewers appreciate the inclusion of various difficulty levels, making it accessible to a wider range of players. The game is lauded for its solid arcade feel, distinct characteristics for each pilot's ship, and the satisfying action of taking down enemies and bosses. The reviews highlight its quality as a shooter port. The average score is 8.33. The reviews provide insights from female players, staff writers, and guest contributors, giving a well-rounded perspective on the games. There's also a small column where the reviewers share brief thoughts. This week's SEGA Saturn software reviews cover 3 titles. Roxer, a falling block puzzle game, received mixed reviews, with praise for its strategic depth, but criticism for its complex rules, resulting in an average score of 6.33. Liquid Kids, an arcade port, offered classic, accessible gameplay, earning a 6.0 despite some reviewers finding the pace slow. Sagata Senshiro Shinken Yugi, a minigame collection based on the TV commercials, garnered a 7.0 for its challenging gameplay and hidden content. The page also previews the upcoming October SATURN budget releases, including Steep Slope Sliders, Cul-de-Cept, Magical Drop 2 Eyes, and The Convenience Store. This page features a reader present campaign being offered by the magazine. The main section details 6 different prizes available for lucky readers. Up for grabs are copies of SEGA Saturn software, with 20 winners having the chance to select a game released up to October 30th. A screenshot shows the space shooter, Let's Go! Tentai as an example. 2 winners will receive the vertical shooter Steam Hearts. For collectors, 8 readers can win unique lure-type keychains, perfect for fans of fishing. One prize includes a set of 6 cute character keychain figures from Flen's Seishun no Kagayaki. 3 winners will get the popular visual novel sequel, Pia Carrot A Yukoso 2. Finally, 5 readers can score a cool t-shirt featuring the logo from the dynamic racing game, Dart Devils. The page also includes information about the magazine's staff, the release date of the next issue, October 23rd, contact information, and a list of winners from a previous present campaign featured in the October 9th issue. This campaign is a great way for readers to get their hands on some diverse, Saturn-related merchandise and games. This page features advertisements for upcoming game releases. The main focus is on Strikers 1945-2, a highly popular vertical scroll shooting game known for its long-running success since its 1997 arcade debut. This enhanced version is coming to both PlayStation and SEGA Saturn, launching on October 22, 1998. The ad showcases dynamic artwork of classic warbirds in action, along with screenshots of the intense gameplay.
To celebrate the release, a campaign is underway offering fantastic prizes, including an exclusive May 1 flight jacket, a detailed SPUP-38 Lightning model kit, and special Strikers patches, giving fans a great chance to grab some cool merchandise. Below the main ad, there's a promotion for Yoshimoto Mahjong Club. This game brings the fun of Mahjong featuring popular Yoshimoto comedians, promising a unique and entertaining experience. The Sega Saturn version is set for release in late 1998, with the PlayStation version following in early 1999. Screenshots show the Mahjong interface and character portraits of the comedians featured. Both titles are published by Psikyo, a developer known for their quality arcade ports. The next page delivers the monumental news everyone in the Sega fanbase had been eagerly awaiting: the official announcement for the launch of the Sega Dreamcast. Headlined by the iconic phrase, "Please make Managing Director Yukawa a real man," this page declares that pre-orders for the revolutionary console are starting from October 20th. It urges fans to be the first to obtain the dream entertainment machine nobody has ever seen. The page prominently features the sleek white Dreamcast console and its distinct controller, alongside a determined-looking managing director, Hidekazu Yukawa, who famously starred in the system's commercials. The price is clearly stated as 29,800 yen, excluding tax. The page confirms that the Dreamcast will finally be released on November 27th. As a special pre-order bonus, fans could receive a unique Managing Director Yukawa strap, a coveted piece of merchandise that further solidified his status as a beloved figure in the Sega community. While this page doesn't detail specific launch titles, it marks the beginning of a new era for Sega.